see. All right. Let's give people a chance to get in. I'm gonna send some links out. Send a few links out. Let them know we in the building.
Yeah.
Trying to be smarter with these views.
Man, that's another conversation we need to have too.
No doubt, no doubt.
I'm learning some things.
No doubt. I'm all ears if you got some pointers for your boy.
I can share with you what I've learned. I don't know how I may tell you something you already know, but
ain't nothing wrong. You know what they say about redundancy.
no, what they say.
That's how things sink in. Practice makes perfect. I tell my son over and over again to clean his room. One of these days, it's gonna sink in.
How old is your son?
He's 15. He just turned 15 last month.
That's your oldest son?
He the youngest, and everybody else is female.
Okay.
So yeah, he outside of me, he a little spoiled.
But you got,
of course, he don't see it like that, but
you got one son.
One son and 4 daughters.
You was terrible coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I see, I know it's reciprocity. It ain't even no question about it.
Let me ask you this. What are the challenges, like the differences between raising, in your opinion? I got 2 boys and 1 girl. So what is the differences, the challenges between raising the women versus the men?
For me, it's just making sure he understands what the responsibilities of a man is. Being accountable, understanding that the world is gonna see you a particular way no matter what. You ain't getting too many second chances out here outside of Black women giving them to you. And things of that nature. Just stuff like that. Whereas with my girls, same thing. It just my disposition is a little different. That's all. I teach them the same things. It's just I'm a little more forceful with him.
Gotta be.
Because nobody showed me that. I taught myself how to change the time.
All right, hold on. You getting into my meat now. Look, you in my sermon. Hold on.
So yeah, I take being the father of a boy child very seriously, because although me and my father cool now, it's a big portion of my life where he should have been there and he wouldn't. Sometimes it was his fault, sometimes it wouldn't, but either way, I was the one who suffered as a result of him and my mother drama. So I take making sure he doing what he's supposed to do very seriously, as opposed to kind of letting things slip through the cracks. And then some things, he not the average boy. He not into sports. He in the games and comic books, and he like to write and things of that nature. So I still want him to have his individuality, but at the same time, there's other things that you can't compromise on. So
that's interesting, man, that you say that, specifically with the tire reference. I got a partner of mine that his father was absent too, and that's exactly what I taught him. I was like, asked him, I said, bro, how did you learn how to change the tire then? Because I specifically remember the moment my daddy took me in the backyard, get out there and change. This is how you do it. I remember the moment I did it with my son. I remember my daddy showing me how to tie a tie. So, some of those things, he said, hey, man, it was trial and error. I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
So look, I don't want to get too far in the sermon because I want to ask them those questions as we go along here. See if we can get a understanding. But that's interesting, man. Having boys is definitely different. I had my boys first, see, and then my daughter came along, and then I got messed up, man.
So you got messed up, huh?
Yeah, she got me wrapped around the finger, bro. And she know it.
Yeah.
She know it.
Oh yeah, my daughters, you know, they know it, but at the same time, you know, we have an understanding that ain't no shortcuts in life. So I gotta kind of make them do what they supposed to do as well. I just had a conversation with my daughter. She want to go get another fast food job. But my wife set her up an Amazon store. I'm trying to explain to her, why would you want to go work for somebody else when your mother just set it up where you can work for yourself?
Well,
you know, because it's a little harder though. It's a little difficult process. Right. So, well, okay, but it's yours. And now so listen. I have to kind of, you know, put that in there like, yeah, nah, we ain't doing that. We gonna make this thing work.
Nah, I agree with you. And I work for myself. But you know, everybody ain't got that in them now. Some people like to just go to work, do the job, come home.
True.
Because I got a partner of mine. I was asking him about it. Like, bro, you know, I was like, bro, you smart. You know what I'm saying? You can figure it out why you don't want to. He was like, man, I don't even want all that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, I ain't mad at you for that.
True that.
Because you're right. When you work for yourself, if you don't kill it, you don't eat.
There you go. But I feel like, you know, she 18. So she ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the time to get out there and do it and try it.
Exactly. Dip your toe in. If it's not for you, we gonna figure that out and we'll move accordingly. But for at this juncture, you're gonna dip your toe in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got a few more links, man, and then we'll get this thing started.
All right.
See a few people in the building. I know some other things going on. The brother Garfield got a show going on.
Yep, Mike just went live too. And if I wasn't on here with you, I'd probably be listening to him.
So, appreciate y'all rocking with us, those who are. And see who we got. See, we got our brother Teddy in the building. Say peace to him. Go ahead and get this thing popping, bro. All right. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG DaPoet, aka Brother Pianki. And we got another great show with a powerful brother. Before we get into our spiel, let me do my usual greeting. Let me say hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Let me say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth and 5%ers. Let me say what's up to my atheist brothers and sisters. And let me say jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're Black, I'm with you, and I hope you're with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable, and we can have unity without uniformity. With that, we got our future pastor in the building, Brother, please reintroduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
I am Minister Trai Williams. Amen. You miss it, boy. You miss it.
Hey, man, when I see an opportunity to jab, I got to take it, brother.
Nah.
All right, brother. So, the title had a little bit of a polarizing reaction when I shared it in some of the groups. So let's begin. Let's talk about church hurt according to Minister, future pastor Trai Williams.
So right, according to me. So I'm going to share this definition multiple times for people that may come on late. And I want to make sure that everybody understands this is my definition of church hurt. There is not a biblical phrase or a chapter in the Bible devoted to the phrase church hurt. So when I'm going to define what I'm talking about and put it under a specific umbrella, and then I want to talk about it a little bit. So doing this video God had been pulling at me for well over a year, but I just trying to think about it, man. I run across a lot of different people who are dealing with church hurt. So to me, you have two basic kinds of church hurt. One, I'm gonna make this simple, where the church is responsible and dead wrong. And two, where the church is not responsible. That's just what it boils down to. Now, both of them are church hurt, but only one can be addressed or fixed by the church, so to speak. So I want to cover both of those, right? So let's take the first, where the church is dead wrong. That's when you got people in leadership stealing money, and people feel like I'm giving my tithe, and come to find out they was dipping in the money and stealing and buying cars and doing whatever. That causes people to leave church. They leave the faith because of that reason. Let's say sometimes you have people in leadership engaging in sexual misconduct, and we're talking about not being addressed, right? Because of course the Bible says we all sin and fallen short, but we're talking about things that's not being addressed. That's the nature of that congregation and that organization, is that they're going to be doing something underhanded or something sneaky. I'm sure y'all watched the show Greenleaf, okay? The stuff they got going on there. Let's say that you have people in leadership that are treating the members a certain kind of way, or let's say sister such and such came to get some financial help, and now those people are talking about her instead of helping her. These kind of things cause church hurt. Those type of issues is the church's fault, and the church has to address that. Leadership has to address that. It has to be nipped in the bud. Now, this the one y'all not gonna like. It's the one that's gonna sting. When it ain't the church fault. When sister such and such come in there with that 2-inch dress on, sitting on the front row, and the ladies in the church tell her she need to cover up. And now I can't stand them church folk. They so judgmental. The Bible say, come as you are. Full stop. The Bible does not say come as you are. Somebody find it for me, post it in the comments. The Bible don't say that. What it does say is to do everything decent and in order. It says God is not the author of confusion. Okay. So that sometimes
I object.
Go ahead. Stop.
What is wrong with 2-inch skirts
on the front row in the church? And
listen, I'm just saying.
Come on.
What is wrong with a sister who happens to be blessed wearing a 2-inch skirt? I just want to know, in your opinion, what is wrong with it?
Because she can't wear that skirt to work. Listen, the club got a dress code. They don't even complain. You can't wear your hat. Okay, take my hat off. Can't wear hard bottom shoes, or you can't wear this, you can't wear that. The club got a dress code. Your job got a dress code. The grocery store got a dress code. But only in church do we have a problem with that dress code. So, and I've been in places before that somebody came in and wasn't appropriate, and ladies pulled off to the side, said, hey, that's a little, you got a little too much going on. We're going to hit you with the sheet, and we'll see you next week. But just make sure that has to be done decent and in order too. Let's talk about this when it's not the church fault. I prayed, and God didn't do it. And now I'm mad at the church, or I'm hurt. Again, this is my definition of church hurt. I put all of that stuff under church hurt because sometimes we have a misunderstanding about scripture, or God doesn't move to our will, and then we upset with God or we upset with the church. All right. So we talking about things that are the church's fault and things that are not the church's fault. I had a partner of mine tell me he went to the church one time and he said his mama went, and he said they was in need and the church didn't give them. And so I asked him, like, okay, so like, did you ask why they didn't give? Did they not have it to give? Had your mother already approached the church? I don't know. Let's say they was already paying some of her bills, and they said, hey, we have a budget for this and we got to give it to such and such. But he didn't ask any questions. He felt like I asked and they didn't give. And so now he said he done with the church. So again, that kind of stuff has to be looked into. I asked him, did you ask any follow-up questions? I mean, he just took his mama word for it. He didn't talk to nobody at the church. His mom said, well, they wouldn't give us the money. And I guess they got evicted or something or kicked out. I didn't ask him why they really needed the money because, that wasn't my business necessarily. But I was just trying to help him understand, from being a deacon previously and sitting in on the finance and the budget meetings, it's a certain amount of money allocated to giving back and paying people bills and doing that kind of thing. And I'm just saying, if you don't know that or you don't follow up, you thinking they got $20,000 in the budget for that and they only got 300 left because they've been paying somebody bills, and you just got to ask questions. So I said all that to get to this. I want to get to your story of where your spiritual journey is now. And I want to start from the beginning of your life. I want you to walk me down to right now and see if it's some potential church hurt in there somewhere. You muted.
All right. So you're just going to put me on the spot right away, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you from where? You grew up where?
St. Louis, Missouri, specifically Berkeley, Missouri, which is a suburb of St. Louis.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Okay. And so what's your background? Like, you single mother, 2-parent household, you raised, how were you raised?
Single mother.
Okay. So you from
So let me break it down to you, because I like to tell people this, because a lot of people will say, well, I came from a broken home, or things of that nature. And I always say my home was never intact because my parents were never married, never lived together. Gotcha. Mother had me at 19 years old. She graduated with me in her belly. Mm-hmm. And with the expectation that her and my father was going to be together. Mm-hmm. But, being young, they didn't know no better. He was a year younger than her, so he was 18. And so things just didn't work out the way she anticipated. He ended up, I was born in 76, October of 76. And I have a brother who is not my mother's son that is born in October of 77. So you can imagine, what was going on with Pops at the time. But these two women tried to coexist as best they can. And, the other woman ended up going on to become my stepmother years later. And she a good woman, always was good to me. So, no hostility there. But when the relationship with my father went sour, the relationship between me and my mother did as well. Because if you see my father, you see me. And you know how that goes. You
think she took some of that out on you?
Oh, it's a fact. Yeah, okay. It's a fact.
Okay.
Because the only way to get his attention at that particular time was through me. You know, I was his oldest child, his namesake, and all of those type of things. And so I get it now. Of course, as a little kid, you don't get it. But, you know, but growing up, church wasn't a big thing. You know, my grandmother had the picture of the crucifix. It used to give me the heebie-jeebies. Like literally, they give me butterflies in my stomach. Like, why is this hanging up here? And then the big picture of the Last Supper, you know.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, the everybody, all black people.
Yeah.
Did you ask her? Did you ask her about those things and she couldn't explain them, or she didn't? Or did you not ask her? Or how did you approach the, you know, you see all these religious symbols around the house. Did y'all have a conversation about it? Or was it just kind of like, that's just what we do?
It was more or less, that's just what we do. And so, you know, every Easter, you know, we got our Easter baskets and our Easter outfit, and we would go to church that one day out the year. Like literally every blue moon, every other year, or every once in a while, we would go like the Sunday before Christmas or whatever. But I can remember like yesterday, we would only go to church on Easter. We would come home, watch the 10 Commandments ad nauseum, King of Kings, Jesus of Nazareth. And I'm talking about, I knew these movies by heart. I could almost tell you the cast. And then when all of that was over, we went back to the card parties, and you know, I'm still in cool, you know, I'm pretending to go throw away the coolers off the table, and I'm drinking them.
Okay.
So, but that was what we did at my grandmother's house. And we moved out when I was, I want to say 7 or so, but I was still there every weekend.
So in the beginning of your life, after your mother had you, she graduated high school, y'all was staying with your grandma. And then y'all moved out about 6 or 7.
Right. I had a little sister by then. My grandfather, and it's funny because my grandfather died when I was 4. He died a month before I turned 5. And I have vivid memories of this man because he took me everywhere he went. Even when he stopped being able to drive, me and him would walk to the store. And I remember it was a tornado warning, wind blowing hard. And we walking back from the store, and my aunts running to get us because we walking slow. This is an old man and a little boy. I remember that like yesterday. I remember the day he died like yesterday. He died, he got in the tub, and he passed away because he fell asleep in the bathtub, and he ended up passing away. And I remember that like yesterday. And so when he passed, my grandmother she just picked up where he left off. So they were always, you know, that place of refuge that I can kind of go to when things, you know, got a little crazy at home.
And this your maternal grandparents, your
Correct.
mama's. What about your father's people?
After they split up, I wasn't as close with them, but it was never like a distance. It just, I didn't spend as much time with them. Now, when I got older, and I'm talking about as an adult, I would get back connected to that side of the family. But as a kid, when I seen them, it was all love. But I just didn't see them as much because of the situation with the relationship.
Oh, okay. Now, was your grandfather the one that passed, that basically had you on his hip? Was he religious any?
No, not that I remember anyway.
Okay.
Not that I remember. So
okay. So your grandma was
right.
Now you 6 or 7, y'all moved out of the house, you and your mom and your sister moved out of the house. Now what happened?
You know, we pretty much at the mercy of my mother. And I say that joking, but serious at the same time. And so my mother, shortly after we moved, it was some apartments, and we called them mini projects called Turwood, and we had a cousin that lived up there, or it was my mother's first cousin, my grandmother's niece, and she had joined the Jehovah's Witnesses. If I'm not mistaken, she's still one to this day.
Okay.
So this is the early, mid 80s, somewhere in there. And she was I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
But my mother started going, and now they having prayer meetings at the house. Right.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Did your grandma say something about that?
She couldn't stand. Couldn't stand.
Okay.
And she feeling away, like these weird people and listen, and so whenever we would go, I would go over our house on the weekend. Yeah, she give us a mouthful. but yeah, they having prayer meetings at the house, and my mother is like, we go into the Kingdom Hall, and my mother is like telling us, like, yeah, we're not gonna be celebrating birthdays and Christmas no more. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? Like, that's the one thing the kid be looking forward to. But she kind of prepping us for what this gonna be like. And so just so happened, ex-boyfriend who had went away, as we say, came back into town. This same ex-boyfriend just happened to be one of the reasons why her and my dad didn't work out.
They had a lot going on.
Yeah. So to put it in context, my father was the type of a man in his late teens, early 20s. Now, remember, he had a son that was a year younger than me.
Yeah.
He had my sister with my mother 4 years after me, and then had another brother with my eventual stepmother a year and a half, 2 years after my sister was born. So I'm talking about literally back and forth.
And so let me ask you this. When he was back and forth, was he living with y'all?
No, like I said, my parents never lived together.
Okay.
And so when my mother started dating this other individual, that's a no-no. You got to cut that out. And my mother, like, how could you even fix your mouth to say something about who I'm dating when you got a whole baby family basically over there, and you're like, look, if you're gonna deal with him, you can't deal with me. Well, my mother wasn't the type to. She like, you out of your mind. You got a whole kid, and you tell. So that was his ultimatum. She didn't want to meet the requirements, and he left her alone. And not understanding the impact that was going to have on her, on me, and on him going forward. Just he like, hey, you chose up, go and be with him. But I come and see my kids and all of that. But nah, it turned into some other stuff. But
did you feel a way about that from your dad? Was you too young to understand, or did it?
Yeah, at the time, I was too young to understand. It didn't hit me until I realized, like, I'm in the 6th grade, and I'm like, man, I ain't seen my old dude since I was in the 2nd grade. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute. And the individual who had came back home, was trying to get me to, adopt him as my father. And so it was like, I know my daddy though. Like, what?
Yeah. What's the purpose of that?
What's this about? But because he was providing a particular lifestyle, my mother allowed him to have fatherly duties. So, he could discipline me.
Now, did you feel a way about that?
That
you hit him with the "you ain't my daddy"?
You ain't my look, man. I got every time he whooped me, I got another whooping from my mother for cursing him out the way I did. with the "you ain't my daddy's," "you sorry," how dare you put your, and so yeah, that's because I can go live with my grandmother. Like I like the stank rebellious kid in me was all the way out because you did you really just let this dude whoop me? I understand. Like we doing all right, and I ain't mad. I appreciate homeboy, but homeboy ain't my daddy. Did you really let him put his hands on me? Like
so she defended him and is that part of what caused the rift with you and your mom, or was it already there?
We already had a rift because of the issue with her and my father.
Okay.
And then now letting him discipline me, it was a wrap. Like I was a grown man before I let that thing go. And I'm dead serious. Like, yeah. And when I say I was a grown man, I'm 45. I was in my 40s before I let that thing go. Yeah. So yeah, my man went away again, and he called me. My grandmother died in 2017, and he called me, and we talked, and got some things straight, and he told me how sorry he was because he knew what my grandmother meant to me, and yeah, I let it go with him, and I let it go with her. But I held on to that thing for a long time. So, but yeah, as a what do you call it? Preteen? Yeah. Oh man, I was hot. And I'm gonna tell you what made it, like what broke me and my mother relationship almost for good. After this man went away again, and of course that his funds went with him, my mother started riding around the old neighborhood. I'm not even tripping off of it. I'm just like, when is you gonna drop me off at my grandmother's house, right? Mm-hmm. And so she pulled up to my father's house and say, "Go say hi to your daddy." Now here's the context to this. Her and my mans had sat me down and said, "Your father don't want to have nothing to do with you. He got married. He didn't invite you. He a crackhead, etc." They literally told me all these things, right? And so I'm like, "Why you pulling up to dude's house and telling me to go say hi to him? I ain't got nothing to say to him." It's almost like she forgot about that conversation where she told me he didn't want to have nothing to do with me.
Right.
So, of course, she adamant about it. She ain't explaining that she lied about none of this stuff. So, or exaggerated or whatever the case. She ain't explaining nothing. She just want me to go say hi. So I go knock on the door. My father there. Now keep in mind, I had rode my bike to this man's house like 3 or 4 times before this, and he wasn't at home. Mm-hmm. And never, in my mind, never even came to look for me after I done came to his house. So I'm just kind of like, he at home, but he drunk. He ecstatic to see me, and I can't understand. I'm like, "Why are you so happy to see me? You don't even want to have nothing to do with me." Mm-hmm. I ain't say that to him, but I'm just kind of like, "Hey, my mama told me to come say hi to you." So I see my brothers and my stepmother. I'm like, hi to them, but I ain't really got nothing for him. So I'm like, all right, I'm finna go to my grandmother's house. He don't want me to leave. I try to walk out the door and he grabbed my arm. "No, stay here for a little while." I'm like, huh? Confused. And so she sees this and calls the police. Now, understand, she brought me to his house and said, "Go say hi to your daddy." Sees him pull me back in, not violently or nothing, mm-hmm. and calls the police. So the police come, make him let me out. And I'm confused because he upset, his wife upset, my brother's upset. I'm like, what the hell just happened? She ain't saying nothing on the way home. On the way to my grandmother's house. So my grandmother and my uncle sit me down And I'm like, I say, hey, something weird just happened at the time I'm calling my old man Lil Doug. That's what everybody else called him. That's what I'm calling him. Like at Lil Doug house. And they like, what? So I tell them what happened. Come to find out, this man coming to my grand. We had moved from our old place. He coming to my grandmother's house once a month, couple times a month, asking about us. And my mother had basically threatened my grandmother that if she told him where we lived, she wouldn't be able to see us. So this is strike one. So now I'm like, huh? What happened to he didn't want me. So my grandmother apologized and she wanted me to talk to him, but I still don't want to talk to him because I'm like, we in St. Louis. I'm in middle school. I'm in like the 7th grade. It's St. Louis. Like you could, I ain't trying to hurt it. Well, he started coming around. He coming to get us, and I'm poor. I'm going to Walmart and you remember what was the store, man? Grandpa Pigeons. This is where I'm getting my clothes from.
We didn't have those down here, sir.
So yeah, okay. So you can't even relate to one, but these ain't the stores you wanted to shop at when you're in middle and high school, right?
Okay.
My brother, on the other hand, he going to get Guess and used jeans. This back in the day, the stylish stuff. And so me and him a year apart, exact same size. I started wearing his clothes, and my stepmother like, hey, we got to start taking him where we get his clothes from. My stepmother, the shit. And so he started doing it. My stepmother then pointed out to him that, hey, you don't notice, everybody called me Bubble. You don't notice that Bubble come over here and he talked to everybody except you? So, Pop's like, I hadn't really noticed. I'm just happy that he'd been around. And it just so happened a couple of nights after they had that discussion, my mother put me out her car. And I had got in trouble at school, had a fight, as I was prone to do. And she put me out her car. We had got into one of them heated discussions. She put me out her car. And I walked to his house. I'm thinking he at work. I'm thinking my stepmother there. And he answered the door. And we had a heart-to-heart. And I just told him everything. Like, hey, man, yeah, old boy used to whoop me. They told me you ain't want me. Like, you got married. You ain't even let us know. Turn out, man, my father, they went to the courthouse to get married. It wasn't no big wedding that I got excluded from or nothing. He did get hooked on crack. And he quit. Cold turkey. My old dude ain't never been to rehab. He quit cold turkey. And this the crazy thing. Or not, it ain't gonna be crazy to you. But the day, like this whole thing where old boy went away was a big public thing. He killed somebody in the neighborhood that my father knew. As soon as my father heard about it, he was like, I'm about to get my son. I gotta clean myself up.
Wow.
And never did crack again since that day.
Man,
he said he went home and prayed and never did crack again since that day, right? So with that, then we get to the whole he didn't want me thing. And he telling me how, he would come beg like my grandmother, like where they stay at, this and that. And my grandmother had told him, like she say, if I tell you, I can't sing. So now you can imagine me and my mother relationship from this point on
went downhill.
Like it's all bad. And he telling me like, don't go home tripping. Just we gonna work this out. We're gonna get man, please. Soon as my mother said something to me, I exploded. Next thing you know, my grandmother coming to get me, and I didn't live with my mother since.
So how old were you then?
I was 13 or 14 years old.
And you felt like you had a right to go off.
I did. Of course I didn't, but I did. I felt like that.
Yeah.
Well, it kicked off because I'm cutting the grass, and my mother had a pension tool. When I would get out of line, I had got up in size, and so she would come after me with a wiffle ball bat. So this particular day, I wasn't happy. I caught the bat, and she let it go. Nah. What? Man, nah. You ain't hitting me with this bat. Oh, you ain't gonna let it go. So she punched me. I'm like, all right. So she let off a couple more. Cool. I know her hand killing her. But I'm like, I know, and I'm telling her, like, I know your hand killing you, but you ain't phasing me. Like, I'm not, nah, I'm good. You want me to finish cutting the grass or what? Like, but you ain't getting this off with this bat. So get your raggedy rack out of my house then. All right. I tell my little sister, call my grandmother. I walk up to my cousin, Shabaka, who be on the show. I walk up to his house. His mama called my grandmother. Next thing you know, I walk back down there. He drive me back, and my grandmother pop up. She get your stuff, and yeah, I was gone.
All right, so let me see if I recap this, because we still on church hurt, so we going somewhere. So you started out with your in your grandmother's house, who was a Christian. You and your mother went on your own, and she started following the Jehovah's Witness practices.
Oh, and I forgot about the fact that homeboy that went away was in the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I forgot that part.
And then when he got out, now did they make you pray 5 times a day, go to the mosque and stuff, or was that just him and her? Or how did that work?
Yeah, I had to pray 5 times a day. I had to wear the little beanie, sizzling bacon and bean pies, my G. Like it was the real deal. Alaikum salam, you hear me? and because I was a hothead, and let him tell it. So I needed
was.
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
I needed Allah.
But
so
before we get too far into it, so at this point, you're 14. You've already had, you may not understand it, but 3 different religious experiences.
Exactly.
I know. So you had to realize it, because you said that your grandma didn't like the Jehovah's Witness, and she
didn't like because she made me real bacon every time I came over to the house.
And once that your mama's boyfriend, who's a Muslim, came in the picture, like, this ain't that. Something ain't. So right. So once you went back to your grandma's house, religiously speaking, spiritually speaking, where was your mindset?
It had to be on Jesus, because here's what's funny. Now my grandmother would point out, like, and this man was good to her, but she didn't like the hypocrisy. You a Muslim, here you got my grandson doing all these things to make him a better person, but your source of your main source of income ain't exactly legal, right? And so she kind of like, I don't know if you the best example, and then y'all keeping him away from his real daddy. There's a lot going on, and y'all not really addressing the issues with him. Y'all ain't asking why he getting in trouble at school, why he fighting, why, And so my uncle, when I started living with them, now my uncle been on crack his whole life. He in his 70s, and he's still smoking crack, got cancer, and don't want to leave crack alone. But this man was so determined for me not to be like him, and the way he felt like he can make that happen is, we had a set of World Book encyclopedias, the old white and green ones. Read every encyclopedia, front to back, every last one of them. Before you go outside, you need to read one of them books. Well, of course, I want to go outside, ride my bike, kick it with my boys. So, all right, this sucked though. And I had to read the Bible cover to cover, because this was going to make me not be like him. I ain't even understand what the hell I was reading half the time. These dust and souls, the Shakespearean, but this was his thing. And so at 14, I didn't read the Bible like 3 times. You know what I'm saying? With little to no understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I read it. And so, but I'm still cynical about religion and church.
So where did that come from? Was it because I read these encyclopedias, I see this information? Was it because I see these 3 different out of the 1,400 something religions presented? Is it because I see people talking one way and living another way? Or was it because you didn't have a personal experience with God or something else?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. So you see people, the man who want me to educate myself in this Bible is a alcoholic and a crackhead. Mm-hmm. Like any given day, he hounded my grandmother for money, like literally like Samuel L. Jackson character in Jungle Fever. Mm-hmm. But he on me about being a better person and an upstanding. You know what I mean? This man who is a Muslim and got me praying 5 times a day and eating bean pies is a drug dealer on the low. My mother, who literally says she wished she would have got an abortion when she angry with me. Like and when me and my wife started dating, my wife, she said it in front of my wife, my would-be wife, because we weren't married then. Well, we was, teenagers. But like this woman is the one going, she was a Jehovah's Witness. Now she in a Muslim. Now she back a Christian. So I'm like, this is some BS. Like, what are we doing? And so, and then, you reading about, because you're reading these encyclopedias, you're reading about different mythologies and different, things of that nature. So all of that started to add up till by the time I'm 16, 17, I'm good and cynical. You know what I mean? Like, but you still have that, that just in case, I'm gonna ask the Lord to forgive me when I go to sleep. You did.
Been that, done that, got a t-shirt, bro.
Yeah, you still got that just in case, but yeah, I'm good and cynical.
So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that didn't change until my wife, who everybody know, all right, I've been knowing since 2nd grade, but we started dating our junior year of high school.
So right after this is when you cynical, you back with grandma. I don't really know what's going on, what to believe, whatever. I'm just doing me. And then your wife come in the picture. The best thing that ever happened to you came in the picture. Now break that down for me.
So I had, in the middle of all this, my mother got tired of me living with my grandmother. She, at the middle school, she comes to get me. She wanted me to go to high school from her house. Out of the blue, it seemed like. And I'm miserable because I got to go to this other school. And I get in trouble out the gate. The only thing that was cool about it, Shabaka lived up the street. So, I had my cousin up the street, but I'm miserable. Meanwhile, my wife, would-be wife, is still at Berkeley, And so by the time sophomore year came, I done got kicked out so many times at this school. They like, he got to go back to his old, his only option is to either go, it was like some alternative program, or I could go back to my old school. So of course, I choose to live with my grandmother and go back to my old school. That's what I wanted to do in the first place.
Right.
So I get there and I'm walking through the hall and I hear somebody say Bubble. And I remember everybody, all my family members call me Bubble. That's how close me and my wife families were. She called me Bubble. I hear somebody say Bubble and I'm like, who is that? And I look. Now, keep in mind, I didn't like this girl. I told you I'd known her since 2nd grade. I didn't like her since the 6th grade. She just wasn't paying me no attention.
Right.
So I hear her call me and I'm like, I look up, it's her. I don't know what to say because I do what I do with other females, but when I
Got
really
him.
right, when I really like her though, I'm like,
Yeah.
so I act like I don't know it's her. I'm squinting my eyes like I don't know it's her, right? And she like, you gonna act like you don't know me? And I was like, oh, hey. She was like, how you been doing? So that, typical conversation, how family doing, blah, 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 everybody cool. So I ended up having art with her sister. And the next day, her sister was like, hey, my sister said, give you our number. I'm like, what? Really? Can't believe it. Because again, sixth grade. I've been, sniffing around this girl. So I get her number, man. I'm on cloud nine. Well, get her number, my nose wide open, as they say. She asked me to go to church. You get that little period where y'all liking each other, you're getting to know each other, but you've been knowing each other a long time, so it's a little awkward. Once we got past that stage, she immediately asked me to go to church. And I'm like, nah, I'm cool.
Now, was your wife raised in the church?
Raised in the church.
Her mom and, but so your mind didn't say, oh, I got me a good girl. You say, nah, I'm cool.
My mind said I got me a good girl,
but
I was trying to stay bad and still had that good girl.
Okay.
Little heaven with my hair. And so
I don't want no hell, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you have this one. and so I end up I'm curving this church thing for months. I'm talking about months. And we just passed the 27th anniversary, March 19th. Oh man, congratulations.
My cousin, Shabaka's older brother, was killed. And most people remember this day because Michael Jordan came out of retirement.
Wait a minute. Oh, I was saying congratulations. I thought you said anniversry. That's when he got killed.
I didn't even hear you say congratulations. My bad.
Well, I take that back. I thought you were saying that's how long y'all been together.
But okay, no. And so yeah, we've been together 28, 27, somewhere in there. Same amount of time, but I think it'll be in September. Our 25th wedding anniversary is in August. But yeah, Shabaka brother got killed, and it was, we was all close. And so I remember this day like yesterday, because with Michael Jordan coming out of retirement, Shabaka called me, and we called his brother. His brother couldn't stand Jordan. So we called him, and our boy back, this and that. And so we talking trash, and get off the phone. We'll see you later. I worked at Hardee's, and Shabaka worked at Deaconess Hospital in St. Louis, here in St. Louis. And so later that day, I'm at work, and I'm 18. I don't even know what a morgue is, bro. My grandmother called, and they was like, somebody on the phone screaming for you. I get the phone, I'm like, hello? And she was saying, Dante is in the morgue. I didn't understand because she was screaming and crying. So I'm like, what? And my uncle got on the phone. He was like, Dante in the morgue. I don't know what the hell a morgue is. I'm like, morgue? What do you mean? He was like, he gone. I'm like, nah, y'all, it must be somebody else. Y'all tripping. And he was like, your mama coming to get you. So I tell, the manager, I'm like, hey, I gotta go. I walk outside, my mother pulled up. And so I remember sitting on the porch, waiting for them to say we can go to Shabaka, other grandmother house, to see him. And when we pulled up, I looked at him and I looked at his mother, and I knew it was true. And it was like man, 22 years old.
It ain't nothing like that first look when you pull up and you still trying to figure out if it's true.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know it's
so it was like, damn. And so, that was like the first loss of like my young life. I had, and to put it in context, I had got myself in a situation, for lack of a better term, trying to be a street pharmacist.
Okay.
Got in over my head.
Mm-hmm.
He got me out of the jam.
Mm-hmm.
So my last time seeing him, he brought me the money and was telling me, hey, don't ever have nobody give you nothing that you can't pay for. And don't ever put yourself in that situation where they hounding you for their money, etc. We talking, we walk outside, we say our goodbyes. I asked him, is he cool? Did he want any money? He was like, nah, pay them. You good, blah, blah, blah. It was love, you know?
Yeah.
And that was my last time seeing him. And I never forget, you know, because he didn't even have to do that. But I told him what happened, and he immediately took care of it. And it was like, damn, I still can't believe that's the last time I seen him. And so that's why I always, no matter what, I try to play it forward with my younger brothers, with my brothers, period, but particularly with my younger brothers. Like, I don't care if it's a relationship, if it's money, whatever the situation is, I try to be positive and provide a positive role model for them, because one step in the wrong direction to change your life forever or end your life. So, but yeah, so after that, he asked me to go to church, and I'm good and emotional, yeah. good and vulnerable. And I was like, all right. And so I end up going. Now,
your wife is wise.
In my mind, I'm like, you know, all these people do is ask for money. Man, they're gonna probably ask because, you know, I left out the part where my mother went to this little store, started going to this little storefront church, and they had 5 different offerings for building funds and, you know, things of that nature. So I'm like, they're gonna be asking for money. They're gonna, you know, I already know what this is gonna be. So I kid you not, as soon as I walk in this building, man, near and dear to my heart to this day, his name David Smith, Elder David Smith. At the time, he was Deacon David Smith. Walk up to me and shake my hand and put $100 bill in my hand. And I'm like, hey, sir, you know you gave me he was like, the Lord told me to give it to you. I was like, what the I almost cursed up in there. I'm like, what the hell? The deacon just gave me $100. So I'm sitting down like, what in the world going on up in here? Like, I automatically, my disposition has been subverted, like out the gate, right? So
the Lord knew you needed that.
A woman named Sister Miller, who my wife said never talk to the younger people, comes up to me after service. How you doing, my mighty man of valor? To the day she died, near and dear to my heart. And I'm like, how you doing? My wife was like, she don't never talk to us. She always mean to us. But she came right up and talked to me had encouraging words every time she saw me. And so I'm like, I don't know. Never mind when her uncle, he the pastor now, but he was the assistant pastor then, when he prayed for me, I kept looking back at her because this man was all in my business. I'm talking about in my business. Like, you don't get along with your parents. You live with your grandmother. Your grandmother is almost your guide. And I'm talking about in my business. Like, and I'm like, she like, I ain't told him nothing.
Sir, I've been read like that before, so I know what you're talking about.
That type of thing, right? So I'm like, man, this crazy. I ain't coming back up in here. But I went back the next Sunday. And look, Brother Dave did the same thing he did the previous Sunday. And the Lord told him to do it. So and I'm like, what in the world? So yeah, it was just a different thing.
All right, so you got the elder now. He was deacon in, putting money in your hand 2 Sundays in a row. You got they reading you, don't know you from nobody. Now, in your mind, did you say that's God, or did you say, man, I don't know what it is, but I'm still cynical? Or what kind of dots did you connect?
The first Sunday, I was still cynical. But of course, I can't. You can't deny what you can't deny. Like the man was all in my business.
Yeah.
That, you know, I got everybody in her family talking about her sister Miller don't talk to nobody, but she called me mighty man of valor. So, you know, this.
Let me ask you this. Oh, before we go another further, now, when you were with the Jehovah's Witnesses, did you ever experience something like that?
No.
With the Muslims?
No, I felt out of place.
Okay, but at the Christian church, your initial, and I ain't talking about every church you ever been to, but at that church, your initial experience was, this got to be, well, not the second week, this got to be God. This got to be God. Is that what you're saying happened?
That was the only conclusion I could come to after like the second week.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm like, okay, this what it is at this point, right? But you know, I'm still I'm a teenager, so I'm not about to confess my, you know what I'm saying? But my guard is down, and so I would go every now and then. I wasn't going like every Sunday, but every time I went, you know, they welcoming me with open arms, right? And so fast forward 3 years, and the same man, Brother Dave, I'm getting ready to propose to my wife.
You still going to this church 3 years?
Still going to this church. Okay. Still going to this church. I'm getting ready to propose to my wife. I'm short like $125 on her ring. The ring I want to get her. I done took her mother. We done picked out a ring. Called Brother Dave. Hey, Brother Dave, this how close we done got. Hey, I'm short on this ring I want to get Jamila because I want to propose on Mother's Day. Can you help me out till I, pay you back? Wrote a check. He was like, you're gonna have to go cash it. I'm like, all right. Wrote the check. I went to cash it. When he got the ring, proposed on Mother's Day. The next Sunday, she had already confessed salvation. The next Sunday, I confessed.
Whoa. We got to sit right here for a minute now. How did this come about?
So I'm gonna be honest with you.
Was it okay? Go ahead.
So it was partly because I felt like I needed to.
You felt some pressure.
And partly because she had done it. Because like when she did it, she was dead serious. Like I had bought a house. Hey, I ain't moving in until we married. Because I'm thinking, we're gonna be engaged for a year, etc. I ain't moving in until we married. Yada yada yada. She serious with it, right? And so part of me like, hey, I'm here almost every Sunday anyway. I believe, but I'm not there, but I think I am, right? So I confess, and I'm a fake it till I make it, so to speak. And I keep in mind, I ain't never 20 years old. Okay. And so we get baptized together on this, not together like at the same time, but on the same day. And it's like it's a happy time, two young people in the church. But in the back of my mind, I'm not there. So you confess, but you still had some doubt about if Christianity was true or about what was going on. What was your doubt at? Actually, it wasn't even a doubt that whether Christianity was true. It was just that could I live up to those ideals? It wasn't even about it being true no more. It was just about, could I live up to those ideals? Just because, again, I'm 20 years old. I still want to go to the, you was a players ball dude. I still want to go to the strip club every weekend.
What year is this? Like 90 and what?
This 97. So
this right before y'all started popping too on a national level. It probably was a wild time in St. Louis.
Right. So I'm certified lover boy. So, I'm just, it is one of them things where this the girl of my dreams. But now that I'm a young adult, I realize it's a lot of women out here who provide temptation. And
well, I'm trying not to preach. I'm trying to keep this on what we're talking about.
So I'm falling for the okie doke, right?
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I can't live up to these ideals because I still want to do these other things. But it ain't about it being real. I believe it. I just don't believe I can live up to those ideals. So that's the conundrum 20-year-old DMG is in. Now, keep in mind though, at the same time, my diagnosis for bipolar 2 is starting to manifest. Mm-hmm. Nobody has a clue in my family, nor do I, that this is even a thing, but it's starting to manifest. So you got that as well. So I wake up one day in one mood. By noon, I'm in a whole, it's several different me's on any given day. And I can't even explain it. Shabaka would be like, what's going on with you? Because he was living with me until we got married.
Okay.
So I never fully committed to Christianity the way one does until probably 2002. And then we can get into what happened when I did.
Oh, okay. So yeah, man. I was looking for some paper. I got to take notes because we got to talk about some of this stuff later. So if not, we'll be all over the place. All right. So you started having bipolar, going through these mood swings. This is after you've confessed and been baptized, and you and your girl engaged.
Right.
All right. So y'all go on to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You still going to the church.
Right.
Sometimes, not every Sunday, but here and there.
Right. But now I've confessed salvation.
Yeah.
But now, we married, we done moved in together. We got a young daughter.
You feel like I got her now?
I got her.
Okay.
The bipolar, it didn't kicked in full gear. And so the intention to I can live two lives. I can do what I do and still, go to church and be a provider for her and, I can do this, but bipolar had different plans. So, and bipolar combined with Hennessy, yeah, it was a whirlwind to say the least. Now here's the thing that I always get a little choked up about, and I'm gonna try not to now, because I took my wife through hell when this thing first hit. Because again, neither one of us, I didn't know. So of course she didn't know. And so she thinking like, who the hell did I marry? Like, this ain't the dude I've been knowing all this time. Like, where did this come from? She asking my family, and they like, he had a temper, but he ain't never been like this. I'm punching walls. I'm ripping doors off hinges. I mean, I remember every time me, Shabaka, and our crew would go out, I get into a fight. And it got to be too much. And she moved out. And I remember I came home, house empty. And all you could see is where I didn't tow up stuff. And I never put my hands on her. Fortunately, that was the whole hitting the wall thing. I thought, I let me show you what I could do to you if I wanted to. That was my attitude. And so it's like, as I'm looking around this house that I didn't tow up, and I'm like, dang. And it took about a month, for me to convince her to let me come to the new living space. And because she loved me, she did. Again, we still don't know I'm bipolar.
So how old were y'all at this point?
I'm about 23.
Okay.
And she's 22.
So this is about 2-3 years in the marriage.
Yeah. So this young. So you just done flipped the switch as far as she concerned. Right. She only lived with me and her mother. She went from my mother's house to me. And this is what she got. You see what I mean? So but she let me come. Now it's different now because it ain't rage no more. It's depression. I'm just depressed.
Yeah.
So it's a different side of the disorder. And I can hide it a little bit. Long as I occupy myself, you don't necessarily know. I'm isolated. I ain't going out no more. So I ain't drinking as much. Mm-hmm. So it's a little more under control, but it's still there. And so it's topsy-turvy, but she had fibroid tumors. And so we couldn't get pregnant. And out of the blue, we go to the doctor, she pregnant. And we ain't expecting it. The doctor ain't expecting this, just a routine checkup. But on the ultrasound, you see this little hand go like this, like she waving at me. And I'm like, and from that day on, anytime I talked, the baby would move. And so the only thing I could think to do, for me to, it kind of went back to my uncle. For me to be what I need to be for my daughter that's already here and for the one that's coming, I need to get my life right with the Lord, right? And so I got to get it right. And so again, I make my pledge, so to speak. And
hold on. Now this coming out of the depression, or are you still depressed?
I'm still depressed, but I'm coming out of it.
And this is a year or so after y'all to move back in and patched it up. Okay.
Right. And so I come home every day, make my wife, my daughter for dinner, read the Bible to her and the baby moved. Every time she heard my voice, the baby moved. And we found out she had a chromosome 9 defect. Mm-hmm. So the likelihood of her surviving was super low. And if she did survive, she was going to really have a tough life. And when we look back, the circumstances that we was in wouldn't have been ideal for us to even take her of. We'd have needed a lot of help. Now financially, we good. But back then, it was a mess. And so it wasn't conducive to us bringing her in the world, but I couldn't see it like that. So I'm desperate for a fix. I don't know if you're familiar with this clown, David E. Taylor.
He's a pastor, preacher.
Yeah, like a
heavy set.
One of these nuts, yeah. Weirdo, look like the penguin from Batman.
Is that the one was in the relationship with the white lady?
I think so, yeah.
He took the money.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
he's still doing this stuff. But at the
I know what
time,
you're talking about.
he had just came out. He wouldn't even quote unquote heavy. I'm just gonna say it, he wasn't even fat as hell yet. And so my aunt was going to his services, and she was like, call my pastor and let him pray for you, and he'll, hear this and hear that. And I'm like, all right, it's anything to, anything to help. So I call this piece of trash, and he, he give me his prophecy, because he's a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
And he telling me, I see your daughter running and walking.
Oh man.
And she's gonna be fine. And I, the cynic in me said, I'm not talking about my daughter that's already here. I'm talking about the one that my wife is pregnant with. No. The baby that's yet in your wife's womb. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, my wife, the woman that's carrying this baby, she at peace. She know, she pretty much know what the deal is. I'm having a hard time accepting this. And so, picture this. The day before my wife's birthday is January 10th. January 9th, her water break. Just going through the birth canal was enough to make her depart. It was too strenuous for because that's how fragile she was. And so all I'm thinking about is all this praying I was doing, all this praying I had these other people doing. At the time, my oldest daughter, Godfather, it was like he saw it and ain't nobody else see it. Because I ain't saying this out loud. I ain't said it to nobody. He put his arm around me and he said, don't blame God. But he was too late. Because I ain't had nobody else to blame. So my wife, on the other hand, now again, she just had the baby. And she comforted me. Now, when I think back on it and I think about like how resolute she was in that moment, I'm like, and I told her years ago, like, she always say she just had peace, but she knew how devastated I was gonna be. And it's crazy because she carried her. You know what I'm saying? And so moving forward though, I ain't tell nobody, even though Tom had put his arm around me and said, don't blame God. I didn't say I was or I wouldn't. And it just so happened, that was January 9th. Tom died like 2 months later. And he was about my age when he died. Congestive heart failure. And so, you had that. And here was a man who dedicated to God, dedicated to the church, and good man. And I'm like, what? Like, my uncle, Keithy, he had passed in December. So you had my uncle, my daughter Godfather. And so, it was just kind of like, what is all this? But, you just keep moving on. And so, but the seed was planted. Now it would take years for it to sort of sprout up. But
so what year was that?
That was 2002, 20 years ago this year.
All right.
And so 2012, I think it was, when the Trayvon Martin situation happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
man, that's been 10 years.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
And it was something about that, man. I to this day I can't explain it. But it was something about that just didn't sit well with me. and people saying, you know, we're gonna pray and this and that, it irritated the hell out of me. And I started looking at different different ideologies, not even trying to. I forget what I was looking for, and I ran into a Dr. Ben video. And I can't even remember what I was looking for at the time. I think I might have been looking for like a Black Panther speech or something, and ran across Dr. Ben. And I was like, what is this? And then Sinetta and Brother Polite and all of this. And I'm like, wait, what? I ain't even know none of these cats. I had saw Dr. Ben before, Dr. John Henry Clark, you know, Kaba, but I ain't know who Sinetta and Brother Polite and all these people was. I ain't know what a Hebrew Israelite was. Mm-hmm. And so I'm running across all this stuff, and I'm like, what the hell?
Now, in 2012, you still going to the church.
Uh-huh.
So from 2002 to 2012, you still going to the church, you still participating. You ain't going every Sunday, but you going a couple times a month here and there. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And still having, you know, ups and downs in the marriage, based on my, you know, my behavior.
Okay.
And so in the middle of that, my wife and I, we had got separated in was that late 2009 to like August of 2010. And one of her caveats was, you know, you got to figure out what's up with you mentally, you know, if we gonna, you know, get this thing back together, and you gotta, you know, get yourself right with you know, with God. So that's when I got my official diagnosis that I had bipolar 2. And so, you know, at first I was embarrassed, but I remember the first person I told outside of my wife was Shabaka, and he was like, damn, that makes sense. And I was like, what you mean that makes sense? Because again, I'm embarrassed. I'm kind of, you know how we is when it comes to mental illness. And I'm like, what you mean that makes sense? He was like, cuz, like the stuff you used to do, I don't know no other explanation. And we couldn't do nothing but laugh. And it was like, damn, he was like, yeah, man, just as long as you're getting the help you need and this and that, it's all good.
You know, mental illness had been taboo in the Black community for a long time. We all know people, we just be like, oh, that's such, he just crazy. You know, until the last, 10, 15 years, it really been okay to, no, I need to, you know, get medicated or whatever, seek therapy or whatever. But so we'll talk about that some more later, but go ahead with you.
Exactly. And so
look, this getting good. I'm listening. This getting good.
And so after I told him, you know, I was like, all right. So as you can see, I don't mind telling nobody, because it's just something I deal with on an everyday basis.
So you still deal with it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And but so
you conscious now, you aware of it. Does that help you? Like, okay, I'm tripping. Let me sit down somewhere.
What happens now is I'm one of the fortunate people where I can almost feel it happening. And like, I call it a dark cloud. Like I can feel when the dark cloud coming. It's almost like I tell people, like when you want to say something or you have something to say and you forget, that kind of nagging feel, like, what was I about to say? That's almost how I feel. And it's like, okay, let me prepare myself. And so, and then, you know, sometimes they do catch me off guard. But as long as, you know, they got mood stabilizers and things of that nature. So yeah, it's way, way better than it was when I was younger. Because my wife told me something about a month or so ago. I didn't even know this. We would get into arguments, whether it was about me not believing no more or the kids, whatever it was. And when I would raise my voice, the argument would escalate. Now, and I'm talking about this common sense stuff. I'm sitting here like, what I just said was common sense, and she's still arguing. What the hell? And she hit me with something, man, and it was like a gut punch. She say, from what I had to deal with when we was younger, I have PTSD. When you raise your voice, I automatically go into defense mode because I'm not going to be that fragile young girl no more. I'm not dealing with that kind of behavior no more. And now, all I'm hearing is PTSD. Like, you like what?
Yeah.
But I have to own that. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, at first I'm just like, damn, I did this to the woman. Why the hell are you even still?
That's a hurting feeling, ain't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, why you even still want to be? Because I love you, and and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like it was a day. I put it like that, and so just being cognizant of that, because you know she had never said that. So now it's like, okay, I can watch my tone and my cadence, because, and it makes sense, because I'm like, why did this argument just escalate? And all I said was like, I'm saying to myself, I know damn well I'm right. Like what I said was common sense, and this girl's still arguing. Like, what is it? But in her mind, I'm not holding my tongue and watching you belittle me and devastate me, and I'm not doing that no more.
Man,
and
she's
so,
going up now.
Yeah, I'm a grown woman now, and but you know, so I get it, and I gotta own the fact that I put her in that mind state, or put her in a place where she had to have that mind state, because one thing we typically do, people who have this disorder, we cognizant of the fact that we had a disorder, right? And so we tend to want to put it on the disorder, almost taking the fault away from ourselves. No, homie, you still did it, doc, and so you still responsible for it. So you still got to own it, and as long as I do that, it's all good. Whatever the fallout is, it is what it is. I just got to be a man and own my stuff. I can't teach my son to be accountable and to have responsibility and then run away from stuff because I think I got an excuse for it. That ain't how it works. So yeah, I you know, but with from 2002, even up to when we got separated, getting my diagnosis, things was cool. She was, you know, she was happy because I was, you know, going to church consistently, and you know, everything was on the up and up. But in my mind, like I said, after the Trayvon Martin incident, I'm getting more into the pro-Black movement, because I always been pro-Black. You know, Dr. King is my man. Malcolm is my man. I always laugh when people try to say, forget Martin, I'm gonna take Malcolm. When Martin had boots on the ground and Malcolm was up in New York talking about what the nation was gonna do, Martin was down in the action doing it.
So he coming for that check.
So, you know, and I always tell people, when Martin was saying kumbaya, everybody hold hands, he was good money with white people. Started telling white people, we coming for our check, we want our money, they shot him in his face. So they don't want to talk about that more.
Yes, sir.
So, but you know, so that was always my dude. And so now getting into, you know, the Stokely Carmichaels, and other people, you know, Stephen Biko, and you know, different African-centered individuals,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm having some conflict. But and I'm asking little questions here and there that kind of stir things up.
People can't answer your questions.
Yeah, ain't nobody answering, or they ain't answering to my satisfaction. Put it that way.
Okay.
And so, so basically, and I just keep it a buck. I'm straddling the fence because, like I say, I'm still doing that. Lord forgive me when I lay down at night. You know, that.
Let me ask you this: what's your wife saying about this time? When you, because clearly at some point she see you watching the videos or listening or reading something and going to church, and so what is she saying? Anything like, or
well,
is
you
it just?
gotta know, I ain't wilding out.
Yeah,
I ain't drinking excessively. I ain't going out. So she ain't really tripping. When she would hear a particular conversation between me and Shabaka, who at the time was still a Christian, she'd get a little annoyed, like, that don't make sense. You taking it out of context. She might add her little 2 cents here and there, but she ain't really tripping. So that's why to her, when I just said, yeah, I don't believe this no more, she felt like it caught her off guard. Whereas a lot of other people was like, nah, this been coming for a minute. But for her, it was like, nah, it's because his grandmother died. But the thing was, when my grandmother died, I just didn't feel the need to be like I'm straddling the fence no more. Like I ain't feel like it was like, you know what, forget it.
And this was 2017.
This was 2017. Mm-hmm. And so for her, it's like I ain't mad at her for saying it's because his grandmother died, whereas other people be like, nah, this was coming for a long time. So, because with her, it was more or less, as long as I was behaving a particular way, she wasn't really tripping. Whereas I was having these conversations with other people, and they can kind of go back to that and say, you know what? Yeah, I saw this a minute ago, a long time before his grandmother died. Maybe she just wasn't aware of it. And so that's kind of how that went.
Okay. So you and I've talked about this many times offline. So tell us what happened with your grandma and then how you got to where you spiritually at right now.
So when my grandmother, she had been sick on and off. My grandmother was 87 when she died. And she lived a good life. Like, real talk, I don't even, I'm not like upset about her passing no more, because like she gonna always be with me. But at the time, I was just being selfish, and I just wanted more time with her, point blank, period. So even with me having these doubts and these thoughts about, the tradition, it was like, I knew at that point I wasn't a Christian. You know what I'm saying? You just know. And so when she got sick and she went in the hospital and we knew, it was over, I remember Mother Simpson, not Mother Simpson, but Mother Garrison, who was the original pastor of the church, Pastor Garrison. She was his wife. So she was First Lady Emeritus at that time because Pastor Garrison passed away. And Brother Dave's wife, Sister Aura, they had came up to pray for her. And, they doing this out of love for me. So this is why I always had love and respect for them. So they came up and they went back to pray for her. And, I could see on Sister Aura's face that, she knew what it was. But Mother Garrison was like, she gonna be fine, baby. The Lord gonna heal her, this and that. And I'm like, all right,
You didn't believe it?
No.
Because now this is the second time that somebody has prophesied or told you that this person that we're praying for is going to be fine.
Exactly. And I knew she meant well. Don't get me wrong. But she's saying that the Lord told her this. And unlike that piece of trash, David E. Taylor, I knew she really thought she heard from somebody, but she couldn't have, because we had just decided to put her on hospice before they came up there. So the Lord couldn't have told you she was going to be healed and she was going to be fine, because she's dying. So like, but she thought she heard from somebody. And so mind you, before we put on hospice, I made one more appeal. You know, what they say, the 5 stages of grief. This was my bargaining. Hey, God, listen, I know I've been, drifting away from you. If you real, Chief, I'm on my knees in the corner of the waiting room of the ICU at DePaul Hospital. If you real, heal my grandmother, and I will never doubt you again. I don't care how much, 6 months, a year, whatever time she got. Heal her. Like, everybody always say that God shows you things and he revealed things to you. Like this all I need. I'm dead serious. And so people looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm in this corner. They probably thought I was a Muslim or something. But anyway, I did this, and then, my aunt, uncle came up there, and ultimately the decision was made to put her on hospice. So that was my answer to me. And so when
your answer that God wasn't real, or Christianity specifically wasn't real?
That I'll put it this way: if God is real, he ain't tripping on what I say. That's how I felt at the time. If he is real, he ain't listening to me. He might be listening to somebody else, but he ain't tripping on what I say or what I'm asking for. So it is what it is. And when they came up there to pray, like I said, I appreciated it. Sister Aura knew what it was. Mother Garrison, not so much, because the Lord told her she was going to be healed. She was going to be fine. Watch, I was going to see a difference immediately. But couldn't no Lord had told her that, because again, she had just got put on hospice. So who told you that? So, and it was just more confirmation for me that we sometimes make ourselves hear what we want to hear, or we say things that we think people want to hear. And, because we think we making them feel better or whatever the case may be. And that ain't always the case or the truth, even though we mean well. So I wasn't angry at her. It just showed me that all this time I had been trying to reconcile something in myself that it couldn't be reconciled. I'm sitting here wondering, like, why can't I get this thing right? Like, why? Is it meant for me to follow this? Like, why can't I get right with God? And then, that past year, where my wife said she had been the happiest because, I was doing right with God and this and that. And all I was doing was going to church. And, I wasn't really doing nothing special. But it was like, okay, this ain't no big deal. But to me, it still felt like, I don't really feel like I'm doing nothing, nothing different than what I always did. So, and when it came down to crunch time, when everybody say, this God show up for you, and even the scriptures say, ask I think I put them in one of my posts. All these scriptures talk about if you pray this and you ask earnestly and etc. So I did all that at the most desperate time of my life, outside of when my daughter died. This is the most desperate I'd ever been in my life. And again, if God real, he wasn't tripping on what I said. And that's cool. It's cool, but I'm good money.
So what exactly what was you praying for God to do? Like, you want him to heal her completely, to let her live a couple more days so you could talk to her? What was your prayer?
Well, see, we was talking, like I told you. I could hear her scream from the waiting room in the ICU. This woman literally asked me and my sister, what she had done for her to have to suffer so much, because she was in so much pain at the end. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, what did you do? You see what I mean? Like, what did you do? Because how can you answer that? Like, and she's saying, what could I have done for God to let me suffer? These are her exact words. And my sister just sitting there crying. And I'm like, nothing. What could you have done? And like, we couldn't even figure out where the pain, her legs, her arms, just in agonizing pain. She just screaming. And again, now the woman lived a good life. She was 87 years old. I don't have any, I know now, hindsight being 2020 is 2022. I just wanted more time with her. I was being selfish. If it was up to me, I have her forever. I used to tell her all the time, I wish I died before you did. You know, but then I messed around and had a wife and kids. And so that wouldn't have, that didn't make as much sense as it did when I was younger.
Let me ask you something, man. So spiritually, where are you at now? What do you practice? What do you believe? And then I want to, man, listen, you threw so much meat out there.
Hey, I'm an open book, man.
We can't have this whole conversation tonight. So I'm gonna pick and choose. I was like, man, this was I got to come back and watch the video. And then I'm gonna call you and ask you some more questions. But you added a lot of context to the conversation we already had. But right now, where are you at with your relationship with? Do you believe in God and a God, gods? Where you at now? And after that, what does your wife think about it?
Well, no, I don't believe in a God at all. And I say this, from the standpoint of, I always say that I'm agnostic to the existence of a God, because nobody really knows. So from that perspective, I would say, you know, nobody really knows. But do I believe in one personally? No. I as you know, I study Kemetic spirituality. I study the Orisha tradition, just African concepts of spirituality, and not because I'm trying to replace any particular tradition, but because those traditions are African, which is where I descend, and because they interest me. One thing about Kemetic spirituality that always interests me, when I first met my teacher, my brother, Amari Seneferu, he said something that always stick with me. He said, you, African, have the power to intercede on behalf of yourself. And I was like, damn, that's heavy, because at the end of the day, everything I do, I have to do it. Like, can't nobody else make nothing happen for me. And I learned that trying to call myself praying. And you figure out real fast that you got to make things happen for yourself. Ain't no waiting on a God to do nothing for you. You're gonna be waiting forever. You got to make it happen. And so so that's one of his sayings that's probably my favorite saying of his. And so, from a comedic perspective, we believe that you are your own intercessor. And it's a similar motif in the Orisha tradition, depending on which leg you spring from. So, but I don't practice a particular religion per se. I'm just studying to gain knowledge. I'm not looking to find a God to worship or anything of that nature. I've been there, done that. Don't ever plan on doing it again.
So, you made plans and God laughed.
And so, that's where I'm at with that. As far as my wife, I told you what all she been through with me, right?
Yeah.
Me walking away from that belief was probably the toughest thing on our marriage. Now, again, I'm talking about being a young man who coming out of high school, going into, an office work environment like a mailroom, and seeing, these older women like salivating over you for the first time and, kind of getting the big head about that type of thing. So you can imagine the missteps I had, even being a young man that was married. I got married at 20 years old, but I made many mistakes as it pertains to other females, just based on being a knucklehead and falling for the okie doke. I can, and here it is. She interested, and she interested in this that type of thing. Not even necessarily seeking out to do these stupid things, but just being a knucklehead. And then when these things get revealed, you automatically cast off said female, and now you begging your wife, not to go. And I'm to the point in my life when it comes to Black people, I feel bad about that, because you put yourself in a position where you mislead not only your woman but another woman. So now you did damage on both ends that you got to contend with for however long. And so I didn't develop this empathy to the point where I never hurt my wife like that again. But I would never do that. Like, if my wife decided she didn't want to deal with me today or tomorrow, I never put two women in that position again. So, but you had that. You had a mental illness that none of us knew nothing about. Because of the mental illness, financial irresponsibility, all of these things, right? And me walking away from Christianity was the thing that made her say, we may have to get a divorce. Woo. I kid you not. Like, and I'm sitting here, now mind you, at this point, she has said, you the best father you have ever been. Mm-hmm. You the best husband you have ever been. Uh-huh. But you don't believe in my God. And I'm like, so? But listen, that was super important to her.
And you just hit three very important parts. First of all, out of everything that went on and transpired, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, now that she said, I ain't gonna take. If you back up to the loss of the child, you said you still trying to figure out how she got peace, but you going through it. It's the same answer, the God she served. But I want to ask you this. Let me ask you this. Your grandmother is on her deathbed, and she trying to, hey, why am I in this pain? What did I do? I'm in this agony. If she would have said, DMG, I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm about to go home to be with the Lord. Don't you never let go of the Lord's hand. Would that have changed your disposition?
Possibly.
See, think about it now. And I'm not putting I don't want to put speak ill about your grandmother, so to speak, because we human. She was in pain, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. But if she had said, listen, I know I'm in pain, I know I'm in hurting, baby, I'm hurting, but the Lord is your shepherd. He gonna take care of you. If she would have prophesied to you or gave you words of encouragement or scripture on her deathbed instead, would that have changed how you feel?
It might have changed how I feel about her passing. I don't know if it would have changed where I'm at right now with regards to the religion. Because
those was connected though in that way.
Well, because her passing was just a symptom. It wouldn't necessarily, like if we speaking of me not believing as an illness, right? That was a symptom. That wouldn't the cause or that, like I say, this is why people who know me say this started before his grandmother passed, as opposed to, oh no, it's because his grandmother passed.
Well, you said the seed was planted early on in 2002,
right?
And so after you told me, I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah, he good and fake, he good and false. So now let's go back to the topic of the video. We're talking about church hurt.
Right.
What that guy did is how people get church hurt.
Okay.
False prophet.
No, let me ask you though, because this was my question.
Okay.
If with me being now, do I qualify for church hurt according to that? And we know we making sure we say your definition.
Yeah.
Because I still go from time to time.
But it's gonna be a lot of people that go to hell from the church. We talking about the relationship with the. Hey, my pastor said that's the worst way to go. You go to church every Sunday and still going to hell, because it's about this right here. It's about their heart. And so what that guy did was give you now. And where was he at after this happened with your child? And he still was coming around. Did you question him? Did he get missing? What happened?
Oh yeah, I couldn't get a hold to him no more. My aunt got mad at me at the time because I started talking real bad about him. Because remember, my aunt was a member of his, or his church or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah. Is she still?
No.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Nah, I ain't even gonna pull up the scripture. But long story short, the Bible say, if a man prophesied and he said the Lord said he ain't none of his. Okay, that's how you identify a false prophet.
Do the real clown. I mean, I know that now. At the time, I didn't, but yeah.
But again, I want to, but see, that's unfairly tied to God. But so, yeah, I got my doctor hat on now. Yeah, in my definition, that's church hurt too, because you was like, the people was praying, they was praying, I was praying, and God didn't answer my prayer. That's why I kind of asked you first specifically, what was your prayer? And did God tell you he was going to heal your grandma? What did he tell you when you was praying?
Nothing. Not nothing. So here's the thing. You know how people say they hear from God.
Yeah.
And God told them this and God told them that. And God revealed himself. He ain't never revealed himself to me.
Except in that church when you first went and that man was reading you.
Right. Now, again, I don't. It was that guy because
You tell me what it was.
right that I don't know because if
Man don't know you from Adam, right?
he don't know me from Adam,
He reading you up and down.
Now,
The
but let me
same
ask
way
you.
I told you I got read at the church I'm at now while I'm still there. He read me up and down.
I got you.
I don't know who I'm talking to. Look at this.
But now let me break it down though, because
okay,
I had a similar experience, but it was an E5 practitioner, a priestess.
Okay.
Did the exact same thing. Now this was many years later. But she read me. Was that God?
And she was an E5 priestess. She was working out of a spirit of divination.
So with her, it was a spirit of divination.
Yeah.
With him, it was God.
If you go to Acts, I'm finna tell you. If you go to Acts, in Acts, there was a lady following Paul, the apostle, around town. She was a fortune teller. They used to make a lot of money off of her. And she was following Paul and them around saying, these are great men of God. These are great men of God. These are great men. She was telling the truth. Paul turned around and got annoyed that she kept following him and basically said, hey, spirit, come out of her now. She went back to her masters and they was mad. They wanted to get at Paul and them because they couldn't make no more money off him because she called the spirit out of her. So the things that are going on in the spiritual world, Satan got access to information as well. But that don't mean that you saying it was true information. Everything she told you was true. Because the lady, they see what Satan usually does is tell a half truth. That's why I'm asking, was everything true? It's normally a half truth. God's word is untested, true. Ain't no ifs, ands in it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that everything that, without knowing everything that man told you, if he was prophesying, it came to pass, or it was something that already happened exactly, and you only know. I guarantee you it's cracks in that other story though.
Well,
without even knowing the story.
I wouldn't say it was cracks. I mean, she pretty much hit on what was going on at the time. This was around the time where I wasn't really sure if my wife and I was gonna make it. Like, I thought we was gonna get divorced because I had walked away from Christianity, and without even knowing her, I wasn't even asking for no no prayer or nothing like that. She just came out with it. She was like, your spirit is troubled, and brother, and I'm looking at her like, what? She was like, your spirit is troubled. I'm like, man, I don't want to hear this right now. But she hit me with some facts. And so I was like, huh. So again, I don't know what that was. I can't say. I mean, some people just may have a gift. May have a gift for that. Who knows?
Working in divination. Yeah.
I'm not saying, at the end of the day, when it comes to me and God talking to me,
yeah, it
ain't never happened.
But first of all, man, like I said, you throw so much meat out there, I don't even know where to start. So you would welcome God talking to you. First of all, you're not agnostic and you're not an atheist. You believe in God. You're just mad at God. Let me start with that. You just mad at God. I get it.
How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me what my
I'm finna tell the kids to bring my glasses. Bring my glasses. I can do professor. Cause you just mad at God, and I get it, man.
No, I was. I can admit that, but not so much now. I'm mad. Basically, at this point, I'm kind of mad that I ever put so much stock into like trying to follow something that it wouldn't never meant for me to, because understand, I'm gonna tell you a true story. I think it's some people that should stay Christians. Real talk. So don't get it twisted like I'm knocking Christianity. I ain't.
I don't believe you knocking it. I had too many conversations with you.
I got a young brother. He a driver. when our independent contractors come up to the job. When I first met the brother, and I think I told you, I started out telling you about it anyway. Now, that might have been Jacobus, but first met him, like you could just tell he was off one day. And I'm like, everybody like, man, you know, homeboy, you know, being kind of, I don't want to give his name, like homeboy being kind of short, you know, he kind of tripping, this and that. He kind of remind me of myself, you know, younger brother, got tats, bald head, you know. So I walk up to him, I'm like, hey, bro, let me holler at you. I'm like, what's up with you, man? Everybody complaining about you, man. You know, you tripping with the loads, etc. He like, man, he starts crying. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Did you lose somebody? Finds out his wife cheated with his pastor.
I think we talked about them.
Now, I'm like, oh, that's heavy. He been knowing this pastor since he was like 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
He just turned 26, wife like a year or two younger than him. And they was having issues conceiving. He on the road, you know, independent contractor, got his own truck. He trying to make a living. Suggested to his wife to get counsel from the pastor. And this is what happens. So he's working to forgive his wife. Obviously, that's a struggle for the young brother. I get it. He want blood from his pastor. So, you know, it's best for him to, you know, remove himself from that situation. So, of course, they're not going to that church no more. But he was telling me, you know, I've been looking at Kemet, you know, he was like telling me like the unk on my arm and everything. I've been looking at the
he got church hurt.
I'm looking at the E5 tradition. I'm looking at XYZ. But you know, I still trust God and this and that. So I'm like, bro, I say, wow, so what you looking at all this other stuff for? I mean, you know, I just want to explore other things, man, because I say, bro, you still a Christian, man. If you done said you trust God like 8 times. So listen, I gave him my Uncle Pastor number. I say, check this out. I say, now, I would have gave you Baba Saber or Maurice Neferu number if I thought that's what you needed. But you still a Christian, Chief. And in 4 or 5 years, you're going to be one of these cats that come back to the church talking about this and that with the conscious community and why it's this and that. Don't even waste your time. Just stay where you're supposed to be. Don't let what this dude did deter you from whatever it is your path is in that.
So you was preaching to him about
I wouldn't.
Let me use my words. You was preaching to him about not having church hurt while you got church hurt. But listen, so again, let me tell you the first mistake most people don't make. Let me tell you the first thing my pastor told me when I was being ordained, going through deacon training. Do not counsel women alone.
But if I got church hurt, would I have told him to go back to church?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because listen, you mad. You believe, but you mad.
Come on, man.
That's the box I got you in, brother. You believe, but you mad. But listen, let me go back to that story first. That's the first thing, man. The pastors, we don't counsel women, men on women. If some, for whatever reason we do have to, is door open, blinds up, with somebody else sitting looking in the office. Or what I do, if somebody, ladies inbox me, hey, I need you to pray for me. Hey, you got my wife. Whoop. Talk to my wife. Out of that. Turn them over to the women's ministry. The fact
that's
he
what
probably
this
didn't
dude
know no better. Because you said he told
her, and he trusted him. And that's where he messed up. But like I told him, I say, check it out, man. What you need to do is understand that, You never trust another man that ain't your blood, and some of them you can't trust with your woman. Period. That's number one. Number two, these pastors is just men. They ain't no deity, because it ain't no such thing. They men.
See, the first part of that I was good with, but then you said ain't no such thing. Then I gotta refute you. Well, Psalms 118:8 say it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man.
Right. That sounds good. That trust the Lord, man.
Listen.
Trust the Lord for what though?
Everything. And it's not an area of my life. Even when I struggle to trust him, I trust him.
So let me ask you this. What would you say if I told you that with the exception of the polarization that took place at the beginning with my wife, that from an income standpoint, from a happiness standpoint, I'm talking about for myself now. Overall quality of life ain't never been better for the kid.
I reign on the just and the unjust.
Really?
That's what he said.
That's what you got.
That's what he said. We sitting around. He said we sitting around trying to figure it out.
That's why I call it it got an answer for everything, man. Come on, man.
So listen, let me ask you this. First of all, I would counter one of those points. You don't know joy till you know the Lord. You think you happy. You think you got joy. But that's another level. It's here. When I got saved, I had been saved like a good 5 or 6 weeks. I was sitting at home one day looking around like, man, I should have been did this, man. All that weight to get lifted up off of you.
I know. Here's where the joy come from, bro. This real talk. I ain't never made as much as I made right now today. That's joy, bro.
No, I'm talking about something better than money, bro.
I mean, I'm just saying, it ain't. I can't buy nothing with just with joy, and my bank account got zero in it.
Listen what I'm saying.
Joy ain't gonna pay the bills.
My bank account could be in the negative, and I could be joy. I could have joy, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like,
what you gonna do about the
based
election,
on the money. God take care of it. And let me tell you how that works. Let me tell you how that works. Now, when you trust in the Lord, let me make a statement right here, live on the shit TV. Let me. I will always pay tithes and offering before I pay my bills. Like clockwork, direct deposit. I go direct electronically, swipe, send it to the church. I have been sitting outside the store, do it all the time. I got a direct deposit. I move the money out the bank account and pay my tithes before I walk in the store and get a piece of gum, anything. Because why? The Bible says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So money is included in that. Bro, I've been taking care of the church and the Lord been taking care of me. Now listen, what I'm telling you, even when it's tight, right? Even when I'm looking like, okay, Lord, this business of mine, this bank account looking a little light. I don't know. Do I need to pay this? Man, listen, me and Lord be talking, but I be praying and he be answering, right? So I'm like, I don't know, Lord, do I need to pay this bill or hold on to this money? Lord said, wait. I said, I don't know, Lord, it's getting tight. I need to spend. Wait. Next day, wait. I call my wife. Hey, you put some money in the bank. Where that came from? Lord, like, now pay it. Every time I follow him, bro. See, and I'm switching gears now, but tithes and offering is about trust. It's about trusting that God gonna take care of me, no matter, as long as I take care of him. That's what he told me. Now, when I asked you about your grandma, when I said, well, what did the Lord told you? This is what God told me and showed me. He said, if you go preach my word, financially, I'm gonna take care of you. You're not gonna have to worry. And he showed me at the same time. Gave me an example. Sent somebody to me how you said, better put $100 in your hand, better put $150 in my hand. I have $43 in the bank. I remember like it was yesterday. I had $43 in the bank. Somebody called me and asked me to borrow 20. And I was like, boy, I can't do that. It's Monday. I don't get paid till Friday. I got 3 kids to take care of it. Lord said, give it to him. I'm like, what? What? Lord said, give it to him. I said, okay, Lord, I trust you. I drove out there, burnt gas, taking Buddy the $20. Put his, oh man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna pay you back. You ain't gotta pay me back. God told me to give it to you. That's between you and the Lord. You ain't got to pay me back. That was on Monday. On Wednesday, we was in prayer service, and I heard the Holy Spirit saying, it's time, it's time, it's time, it's time. And I'm like, it's time, it's time, it's time, it's time. I'm like, well, it's time. Prayer service going on. Boom, Bible study started. My deacon reached over and tapped me on the back of the shoulder. He said, God been talking to you? I ain't even answer him. I turned around and started crying. He said, see me after service. Hold on now. He said, see me after service.
Let me ask you this. When you say you be hearing God's voice.
No, that time. Only that time.
Anytime you've heard it, right? What does voice sound like?
Different at different times. Okay, so he says, I'm getting this out, but he said, my sheep know my voice, right? They shall not follow another. My sheep know my voice and I know them. It's literally just like I told you the other time. If you blindfolded right now where you sitting, and 10 women coming in that room, and one of them is your mama, and one of them is your wife, you're going to be like, that's my wife right there. That's my mama right there. Because you spend time with him, you know him. God speak through his word. He speak through other people sometimes, pastors, sermon. My pastor was talking to me Sunday. He speak through, I used to have a lot of dreams. I don't have those a lot anymore. He used to speak to me through dreams. And then what God do for me now, again, how he talked to me, he usually sends somebody or sends something. And I'll be like, man, is that guy? And then quickly, soon after, hours or the next day or something else will come along to confirm that. God speak to me personally a lot in twos. Something happened and something else happened that'll line up. And I said, okay, that's God. But he's starting to change how he talks to me. Now, the time I'm telling you in church, that's the only time where I thought I heard an audible voice. And I ain't even saying it was audible, but it was just a real strong, it's time, it's time, it's time. And I looked around almost like, no, that ain't nobody talking to me. But again, that was the one time, right? God saying it's time. I turned around. 30 minutes later, my deacon tapped me on the shoulder. God been talking to you? That's the second confirmation. That's why I started crying. I knew what he was. He called me outside. He said, I don't know, man. He said, tell me if I'm wrong now, but I feel like God telling me to do this. He reached in his pocket and gave me $150. But this is on the heels of God telling me it's time. If you preach, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about the money. If you be obedient, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about the money. So I got the $20 back that I let Buddy borrow, and I got a little bit more. And I'm telling you, in August, it'll be 4 years. I've been sitting right at this laptop I'm sitting at making money for 4 years because I've been preaching. My wife don't work no more. We both work for the company. It's 4 years. From what I'm telling you that happened, that was 4 years ago. And that's why I went ahead and accepted my calling and started preaching. Because I was like, man, God freed me from my 9 to 5 for ministry. You see what I'm saying? To be able to go to the hospital and pray for people, to check on the sick, to be on this thing with you all night or whatever, or doing Bible study or whatever, preparing for sermons. God want me free for ministry. It wasn't for my own benefit. And anytime I have slipped into doing too much work, God sent me a reminder. That ain't why I freed you now. Don't look at the bank account. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. I got you. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Hey, listen, bro, that is what's up. And I'm happy for you that you have that relationship with whoever that voice is.
Well, but listen, it ain't always been there. It hasn't always been there.
So, but listen, here's the thing. Again, in my 45 years of life, whenever I've heard voices, I had to go see a psychiatrist. So, matter of fact, I got an appointment with one tomorrow. But all I'm saying is, I ain't never heard God or an audible voice.
I want to clarify. It was real. This is the way I explain it to people. That time right there, it was almost like an audible voice. That's what it was so strong, man. But you know what I'm saying? It was just so strong, man. Like, it's time, it's time, it's time. And at the time, I didn't know what it's time meant. I'm like, You ain't talking about, nah, it ain't time for that. What? Man, dude come right in the church. He wasn't even in prayer service. You know what I'm saying? He came in and tapped me on the shoulder and asked me, has God been talking to me? How much more clear do we have to get, DMG?
See, to me, I feel like this though. I feel like that we've been going to church so long as a people that there are certain things that just become instinctual, right? So it don't take nothing but a little pride for you to start believing that you and I ain't saying this happened to you. I'm just saying that I think that this happens.
You being cynical.
I mean,
go ahead.
Call it what you want to call it, but I think that people instinctually want to belong, and so the longer you going to the church service, now, oh, okay, you know, the preacher up there talking about he want people to get active, and now what would I be good at? Well, I'm good at counting money. Maybe I should be a deacon. Or I like to do XYZ. Maybe I should be an usher. I can help in this way because people have an instinct to belong, they want to belong and want to help and etc. So again, I ain't saying that people don't hear voices. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes we think is one thing when it's another, and people sometimes play on that desire to be a part of.
Watch this.
I
agree with you. I agree with you. It's because let me give you the flip side. When I was learning God's voice, right, the ways He speaks, dreams, visions, through His Word, through His Holy Spirit, through preachers or teaching or whatever, I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I think God want me to do this. God gonna say this. God gonna do this. Okay, God want me to do this, and was dead wrong. That's the process I had to go through to learn His voice. I got some misunderstandings. Like, okay, God, I thought you said, God, like, no, I ain't say that. That was your desire. That wasn't my desire, right? The further away I am from Him, the more I don't know. I mean, literally, right? Let's talk about distance. If you're 3 feet from somebody, you can understand what they're saying. If you're 500 yards, it gets a little harder to understand what they're saying. If you 10,000 yards, you ain't gonna be able to hear what they're saying. So the closer I get to Him, the better I understand Him. The more I read, the more I pray, worship, fast. God is a spirit. We have to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So I can't try to get to God intellectually. You understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you the problem why most of us don't get to God. We're not humble. We're taught to be prideful. Be proud of your work. Be proud of who you are. You black and proud. You proud. Bible said God resisted the proud. I can tell you 10,000% that's true.
Brother, you know I got love for you.
You don't want me to preach or come from.
You ain't gonna stop me from being black and proud.
You be black. But you can't be proud because you didn't make you black. Pride is about self.
Huh?
God made you black.
You say God made me black?
Yeah, God made you the way that you are. You didn't do that.
My parents black.
Okay.
And they parents black.
Okay.
What God got to do with it?
Where they come from?
They parents.
What? No, the original parents. Where they come from?
See,
I just skipped all the way back, Cop. We got to keep going to where they come from. Where they come from?
No. You said who original parents?
The original men and women is on this earth, man and woman. Where did they come from?
Well, I don't know who they are, so I can't account for them. I know who my grandparents are and who my great grandparents are.
You know your great grandparents?
No, but I got it wrote down. I don't know about heart though.
Okay, let me help you.
I know they was all black.
You'd be surprised what you found on ancestry DNA.
I got it done.
See, look, you got some European in there.
34% Nigerian. I got 10% European.
Yeah, you got some European. So somebody wasn't black somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the slave master ravaged the bloodline somewhere along the way. That's all right.
So you know, so you didn't make you black though. They didn't make you black. Who was the? I'm trying to get back to the source. But listen, man, I ain't finna have this conversation because
I'm just about to say, I'm sticking with my parents, Doc.
Listen, you ain't even an atheist, so I ain't even gonna.
I can't account for what I don't know.
You can't account for what you don't know. Let me see if I agree
No.
or disagree with that. You can't account for what you don't know.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if I agree with that. You would have to expound on
how
that.
can I account for what I don't know? You said the original parents.
What if somebody else know it?
Who would that be?
Yahweh.
I can't even account for him.
You can.
No,
and
I
you
can't.
do. Listen, bro, I'm not gonna let you fly this agnostic or atheist balance with me.
Unless homie, like literally.
Hold on. You giving them an ultimatum.
Listen. This is the way
you recording this. You giving God
an
ultimatum.
This is live. This is live.
You giving? Hold on, because you're in dangerous territory now.
This is live. This is live. This is live. This is live.
Lord, I'm not baiting him into this, Lord. No.
Ain't nobody bait me. Listen, everybody know.
It's getting hot.
So listen. If God is who you say He is, and who
He say He is,
I don't know nothing about who He say He is.
I'm just reading the text.
Who you say He is, who my wife say He is, and every other Christian I talk to, if that's the case, He know what it's gonna take for me to believe, and He can do it anytime He wants to. He has it in 45 years.
So that's your story. You sticking to it now. So what do you say to take for you to believe?
Listen. We live in an age where everything gets recorded. Everything. Literally everything.
In 2022, yeah.
In 2022. So this is the optimum time to get somebody to believe in a paranormal situation. So if somebody want to walk on water right now, this is the time to do it. Because it's going to be somebody recording. Hey, man, dude just walked on water. If somebody want to raise somebody from the dead, this is the optimum time to do it. Hey, man,
but
homie was dead.
It's people walking on water on YouTube.
Homie walked up there and told dude to get up, and he got up. Homeboy was stank. The flesh wrapped back around him. You know how the preacher, the flesh wrapped back around Lazarus, and hey, listen, now is the time to do it because everybody gonna see it. But so it's easy to make Pianki believe if somebody really wanted to, like if the God y'all talk about want to make me believe, it ain't hard. I put my glasses on because my vision be a little blurry without them.
Listen,
I make sure I got my glasses. Just make sure I got my glasses on, so I ain't got to question what I see. And we good money.
But you already believe.
But that ain't happened yet.
Because you already believe. You just heard. That's the whole point of this live. You just heard.
Come on, man.
Bro, ain't no way in your rational mind. Because you talk out that GTD slow gas talk, but you know that there has to be.
Oh, that's funny.
There has to be a first cause. The uncaused cause. You know that. That's really kind of common sense. It had to originate from something. Let's say that for whatever reason you don't want to call it God. You want to call him the source. Okay, let's call him the source, the creator. He is that. He had to, all of this originated from somewhere. And until we can get past that, the Bible provides those answers, but people reject God here, not here. Because up here, it make all sense. When you talk about philosophy, science, and religion, they all three jail and come to the same conclusion. People try to tell you that science don't support the Bible, but it does. You know why? What they say about the what is it, the first law of Explain that for me without God.
Without God?
Yeah. How is that possible without God?
Well, I tell you how it's.
And I ain't no look. I ain't no scientist, but I know
Hey,
that's what it say.
Neither am I. I told you I got a GED. I work with slow gases, so I'm just gonna tell you what I think. Okay. And you know, if you can follow me, hey, okay. You know, follow me. So I'm thinking we're gonna go for like another half hour. And okay. But do you wanna let a few people in?
And you know I don't care. It's always live with the questions.
Okay, so this is what I think about energy not being able to be destroyed, etc. Mm-hmm. And this goes into the God concept, and I'm gonna go back to Kemet. You know, for all of y'all who hating on Kemet right now with the Egyptomaniac talk, hey, I said with the Egyptomaniac talk, because you know that's the thing right now.
I don't know, but you skipped over West Africa and went to Egypt, though. I'm trying to figure that out. Now. You from Nigeria? That's what you said.
Listen, but here's the thing. See, I didn't skip over anything. I wasn't raised in Nigeria. So this the thing. I was raised in the diaspora. So can't nobody tell me what part of Africa I can extract knowledge from. Mm-hmm. As a child of the diaspora whose identity was taken away from me, how's somebody gonna tell me what part of Africa I can extract knowledge from? Like you wanna pigeonhole me to one part of Africa, but didn't nobody pigeonhole me to stay in Africa and stay safe in Africa. So you can't. I can extract knowledge. I can practice Sankofa from whatever area of Africa I want.
I was just trying to figure out how you went from west to east.
But it ain't hard. It ain't hard. It's the same way. It's the same way people go from West Africa to Israel,
Ethiopia.
So you know,
or Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Yeah, you ain't got to go all the way to Israel.
Yeah. It ain't hard.
A lot of them slaves was Christians when they came over.
Come on, man. We ain't finna start that.
Hey, man, that's what's going about it.
We ain't finna start that. You finna start a whole. You finna start a whole nother thing, man.
All right.
Byron Washington say he don't know about that. I don't know why.
About what?
It ain't hard. So and my boy Byron Washington is a Christian. And so if Black people can be Christian, tradition that started in Israel outside of Africa, how can somebody then tell me as an African,
I'm finna help you.
I can't look into a different African tradition.
Hold on to your seats now. Watch this.
I'm curious.
You can do what you want to do. The difference is
absolutely
Christians following truth. That's why we go
hold on.
Christianity.
It's truth. It's truth according to y'all. But from the Kemetic perspective, let's say this is truth. So again,
if it was true, I'd be Kemetic.
Okay, but it's not true to you because you following Christianity. It wouldn't be true to my brother Captain DeGog, a boy of ISUPK, because he's following the Israelite tradition. So I'm not saying what's true and what's not true. I'm saying simply everybody has the liberty.
Don't you do that.
No, this was real. Everybody
got about my truth and your truth
to follow what they want to follow.
Let me ask you this. So you don't believe in absolute truth?
There is no absolute truth.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I got a follow-up question and then you click from out there. If you got a blind man and he outside 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, right? And me and you standing there talking and we like, man, it's so sunny today. And the blind man said,
I gotta answer, okay. I still gotta answer your question, right?
I don't remember the question, but catch me after this one. This is more important. If the blind man standing outside, and me and you talking, we on this live right now. And it's the blind man standing right here over my shoulder looking. He say, y'all ain't talking on the internet live. And I'm like, yes, we are. And he's like, no, y'all not. And I said, yes, we are. And he said, well, that's my truth. Is that his truth or is he wrong?
Repeat that. Repeat that
It's
again.
a blind man standing right here behind me while me and you on this live now. And he's telling me that we're not on live on YouTube live right now. And I'm arguing with him. Yes, I am. Can't you see it right here? It's right here. And he say, nah, that's my truth. Is that his truth or is he wrong?
If that's his truth, that's his truth.
See, what you're doing is
no. Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
Does he honestly believe that you're not live?
He can't see it.
Okay.
That don't make it not true.
So what I asked is, does he honestly believe that you're not live? Because so here's the thing. So when people tell their children that there's a Santa Claus or a tooth fairy, and the child believes this, and the child tells their friend, Santa came to my house at such and such, or the tooth fairy came, is the child lying? Yes. Or is the child telling the truth?
No, it's a lie.
No,
they're repeating a lie.
No, but do they know that they're repeating a lie?
They don't know it, but it's still a lie.
So to them, it's their truth.
No, that's a lie. They repeating a lie.
No.
You give it another name.
Walk with me, bro.
It's still a lie.
Do they know it's a lie?
No.
Okay, so to them, it's the truth, right?
No.
Huh? No.
You said to them it's the truth.
To the child, it's the truth.
Because they don't know it's a lie.
Exactly. So when they say it to someone else, they believe they're telling the truth.
They can believe it, but it's still a lie.
Again, they don't know it's a lie.
But see,
so they're not lying.
You putting the onus on whether they know or not, and I'm putting the onus on the information.
I got what
I'm saying. It's still a lie.
I got what you're doing, but what I'm saying is, to them, they are telling the truth because they don't even know it's a lie. So the truth is absolutely subjective. No, not even a little bit. It wouldn't be true if it was subjective. So if a child believes that when their parents tell them the tooth fairy exists and Santa exists, and then they go tell their friend that Santa came to their house and the tooth fairy visited, and they believe these things, are we calling those children liars?
Because they're repeating a lie.
Come on, man.
They don't know they're lying.
Man.
They're repeating a lie.
So if they don't know they lying, how are they liars?
Man, you can go to jail for repeating a lie. The same way the criminal system holds them accountable, I'm gonna hold them accountable. I ain't gonna say they don't know they lying.
You ain't the police, man.
Wait, they don't know they lying, but they repeating a lie. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, man.
So again, watch this, because they blind, just like the man standing behind me.
Come on, man.
That's my point, really, to be honest with you. Just because they don't know it's not true does not make it true.
All right,
that's my point.
We got B. Washington in the queue, but let me answer this question about what you said about where things come from. So we also got the scripture rip in the building. So again, I'm coming from the comedic perspective, right? And so let me say this with regards to why I can't tell my hold on. Oh, okay, here we go. So with regards to where things come from, in ancient Kemet, everything that was created from one source and is of the same substance as that source. No matter how different things look, they are still of the same source in a different form. That's how it was taught originally. When we look at the concept of our moon, or our moon Ra, being the progenitor of the netters, and every netter being an aspect of our moon, we see this concept in ancient Kemet. And we see that this was corrupted once we see the Greeks come in and had they misunderstanding. So there was only one source, and everything in the universe is that source in its own beautiful form, expressing itself in the freest and most authentic way possible. That source is or nature. And when you break it down to its lowest compound, we can just call it nature. No one can deny the existence of nature, one need only walk outside and look around themselves to prove it's there. To make it simple, let's just say that the ocean is a magnitude of drops. A drop is the same substance as the ocean, but not the same magnitude. When put under a microscope, there will be no variation between the drop and the rest of the ocean. So again, we can look at it from the standpoint that everything has a source, like you said, but we got Google Scholar. We filling up. How many you want to take, Chief?
Man, we can do whatever. You know how this go.
All right, I'll say maybe one more. But
I got two questions for you then after you read that.
Go for it.
Where did the universe come from? Is the universe that source, or did the universe emanate from the source? Is universe, when you say nature, is the universe included in that?
Yes, sir.
So you just said nature is the source.
Correct.
Correct. So universe, nature, interchangeable is the source.
Correct.
So the source is 13.6 billion years old.
Perhaps.
It has a birth date.
Perhaps.
Okay, so it can't be the source.
How you know?
Where did it come from?
Again,
we talking about.
I'm asking how do you know though?
I'm using your people's science. They the one said how dated the universe, not me. Now they the one said the universe, time, space, and matter had a beginning.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand that you said it can't be. I'm asking, how do you know it can't be?
Because if time,
just because it got a birthday?
No, because if time, space, and matter had a beginning, the thing or process or whatever that created time, space, and matter has to be outside of time, space, and matter.
Why?
What you mean?
I'm asking why. Why do it have to be?
Because in order to create it, it has to be outside of it.
Why? Why? I'm asking. I mean, remember, I got a GED. I work.
Look, I'm like, what you? Let me say it slow. It got to be outside of it to create
it. We acting like so. So you saying it's like clay on the potter's wheel?
I had to be careful with you when I answer questions. I had to think about it first because you try to set me up.
I'm not trying to set you.
Hey, let me see. Clay on the potter's wheel. Is that a good analogy? I don't know if that's a good analogy. You when I say it can't be.
Hey, Cap, come on in, man. Hit that link.
Yeah, man. Go ahead and let them boys fire off, man.
Hey, we got a response video to IUIC that came after my sister Nefertiti. So we're gonna deal with them boys. I think they're cowards, but that's a whole nother show. Whoever want to be on that panel, let me know. They out of pocket. But Byron, you came in first, my brother. Go ahead and fire off.
Man, I'm gonna be quick. Good bill for y'all brothers. Bianchi, I appreciate your open honesty about your life. That's courageous and more power and honor to you for doing that, bro. Because everybody don't do that. So appreciate that. I'm gonna be quick because I know y'all brothers been on a while, and if I'm not mistaken, both of y'all got wives, and at some point you gonna get that side eye, like, all right, bro. So I'm gonna be quick.
Right. Especially me, I'm on East Coast time.
You look, I'm trying to tell you, look, that side eye shut everything down real quick. But anyway, P, I just had to get you because you said I wanted to get some clarification.
Come on.
You said that. You already know where I'm going. When you said
I already know.
that we can cross, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so maybe you could rephrase it. When you talked about the whole Kemetic lineage versus going over to Israel, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm gonna let you rephrase it because I want to be accurate. I don't want to,
So I didn't mention anything about Kemetic lineage. What I said is this: as a diaspora-born African.
Bet.
I don't see how any other African or non-African can criticize me or tell me where on the continent I can extract knowledge from. Because I get a lot of people saying you skipped over West Africa as if I'm denying my West African heritage because I study Kemet. That's not what I'm doing. So until I say F West Africa, I'm studying Kemet and I'm Kemet only, that's not what I'm doing. But I can study whatever I want to study on the continent. And I refuse to see why that's an issue.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Then yeah, I feel you on that. You do have the freedom to study what you. I mean, you want to study. If you want to study ancient Chinese religion, you got the freedom to do such. So I'm not begrudging on that. I thought you were saying I may have misheard you. That's one more to get clarification on. But yeah, you got a right to study what heritage. I would say the only thing, and this is not towards you, because you clearly just cleared that up. But when we say that, and you and I have had this conversation before, when we get to a point where we belittle West Africa in reach of upholding Kemet as the only pinnacle of the continental empires, I think we inadvertently give homage to what Europeans were fascinated with. I'm not saying that's you, because you and I have had this discussion before. Because we, and honestly and true, we just don't have a comparative analysis of archaeology and study in all of the continental Africa, especially West Africa, as we've had in the Nile Valley, specifically Kemet, and right across the way in the Levant. I mean, we even are making discoveries in the lower Nile Valley, I should say upper Nile Valley, in ancient Nubia in the last 20, 30 years, because nobody paid attention to Nubia, all the other parts of the Nile Valley, because everybody worried about Kemetic. So I'm with you on that. Now I understand what you were getting at. You wasn't making it from a linear standpoint, that you just have the right to to study where you want to. And I know you don't put one above the other. You just have a fascination of whatever you have a fascination with. So I respect that.
Absolutely.
Because that man a Christian, that's why. Nah,
man, get out of here, man. I'm about to kick you out, man.
Hey, but
your part of the show over, man.
I would say this much: as a believer, as a Nazari, I would say that we don't necessarily go to Israel or to pay homage to the faith, because the faith in this designation was meant to go to all nations. So I don't have to ethnically, culturally, to a point of theologically, right? But to a certain point, you don't, because I don't have to necessarily become a Hebrew or become an Israelite to be a believer or follower of the way. That's just and I know they have some people who disagree with that. So that's other people's contention. That's fine. But I'm just saying I don't have to necessarily become a Hebrew or an Israelite or adopt that culturally to be a follower of the way. I can be fully a child of the diaspora, fully 80% West African, learn my African history, knowledge, and you already know how I am when it comes to African spirituality and traditions and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't necessarily have to jump over the Red Sea to do that. So I just want to put that out there just for clarification.
Bars.
Respect. All right, Scripture Ripper, you in the building. What's up, bro?
Yo, what up? What up with it?
Sabio.
How y'all doing today?
Take a breath, y'all.
We good money, baby. I'm an open book, man. So I'm out here. My wife probably cringing, but I'm speaking my speech telling my truth, as it were, but she know how I am. So if I think it can help somebody, so I'm out here letting it be known.
Right.
Who you
Well,
got a question
for? I got a question for both of y'all.
Okay.
And it's going to be about what you were actually speaking on, Pianki. But I want to tell Byron, he said a lot of interesting things. And there's some things that I think he's intentionally overlooking to hold on to this religion. You know, he said some things about the way, and if he knows exactly how the way started, then he knows this is a Jewish sect. I don't want to diverge or anything, but he knows all this. And these are the things that he should actually be looking into and actually trying to figure out what makes him want to hold on to this. But, you know, that's a whole conversation for a different day. So let me get on to this question I got for you, Pianki and Minister Trai. Going through those situations, especially when you said that man was giving you that $100. To me, I had a similar situation, and it went on for about 3 months. And it was when I first started going to Central Baptist Church. My professor, Pamela Wood, who got me going to the church, and a guy named, let me find his name, because I can't remember it right off the top of my head. It's been that long since I've been to the church, but I still have his number. Ron, his name is Ronald. Ron, I'm gonna just it started with, his name is Ronald. I can't remember his last name, but what they would do is they would pick me up, take me to dinner, and give me money every week.
Wow.
Every week. I didn't ask, and I just knew it was coming. So I didn't really figure it out that they was priming me. I didn't think about it like that. I just looked at it as they was doing, God knew I needed this. So when you, so my question for you, Pianki, is when that was happening, did that make you feel like less of a man? Or did it make you feel like more of a man and God was watching out over you?
Well, neither. Actually, it was. I definitely didn't feel like less of a man. You got to remember, I was like 18 years old, so
right.
You know, I'm full of piss and vinegar. So,
right.
What it made me do though, because you know I'm coming in from a place where I think churches, that's all they do is ask for money. So what it did for me was just simply kind of make me back off of that particular thought process. And then you got to think too, to this day, from that day to this day, you know, this man is like almost like an uncle to me. You know, like we that close. Like I say, he helped me get my wife's first wedding ring. This little bitty speck, you know, that I was able to get her, but he helped me get it. So, you know, we formed a real bond. So it was a little different,
right,
than the situation that you was in. So, I don't know if he felt my apprehension. You know, it was a lot of things that happened that were contrary to what usually would happen at that church. Like I said, Sister Miller, who still hold a place in my heart, rest in power. She didn't talk to the younger people in the church. She made a beeline for me after service, called me a mighty man of valor from that day to the last day I saw her alive. So, you know,
I was in a group called Men of Valor at Central. What was the church on the South Side? Christian Care Church.
Okay. Yeah, so basically with my situation, these people just became a part of my family. The ones that were actually a part of my wife's family, and then the part, some of them just became the extended family. I remember I started a new job back in, what was that, 2016, I think it was. And when Sister Miller died, I remember my wife said her aunt was like, "Don't tell Doug, because I don't want him to lose his job. He just started. He gonna leave work," because that's how close me and Sister Miller had got. So you know what I mean? So like I say, these people became like family to me. So
kind of like Miss Wood and I kind of like Miss Wood and Ron, because Miss Wood was my Black history professor. I was telling you this earlier. She was the one who taught me Black history.
Exactly.
At Forest Park Community College. So we already had a bond from there. And what made her even go to church? Because before she went to church, all right, so her story is kind of weird. She went to Rosati Kane. And you know what Rosati Kane is, right, Pianki?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a Catholic school. That's where she graduated from. Okay. And then she went off to college. And then from college, she went to a nunnery.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
So she was a nun for 20 years. And then she left and went back to school and learned Black history and didn't go to church from like the age of, she like left the nunnery and everything, just studied Black history and been a history professor for the last 40 plus years. And she retired from Forest Park and she had a heart attack. And that led her back to the church.
Them near-death experiences will do it.
Them near-death experiences will do it to you. She doesn't have any family. She don't have any children. She's like 80 years old. All her family is in different states. The ones that is alive, she don't talk to them because they say she was too militant growing up. She was very Black power when she left the nunnery. Right. She was Black power to the fullest. Like she got videos of her with Ashraf Kwesi and
hey, not to cut your wisdom, but what you got for Trai?
Yeah, so my question for Trai. My fault. You was just talking about not much, but you was just talking about how the kids are not wrong. And your analogy that you used was a blind man looking over your shoulder and you telling him that you're on the internet, right? And you're having a conversation. My question to you was, can the blind man hear the conversation?
That's a good question. So in my analogy, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because my point is on the visual.
So because he's blind. So because he's blind, he don't know what's fully going on. So you can't say he's wrong because he is judging it off of what he's able to perceive. And all he can do is hear. And he's hearing what you're telling him and he can't see anything else. So, and if he don't know you well enough to trust you, he can't accept what you say.
But so
that wasn't a good analogy.
I'm gonna tell you why it was. Because we was talking about absolute truth. And the absolute truth is I'm on the internet. Whether he knows, trusts, accepts, does not negate the fact that I'm live on YouTube.
Oh, it does. In his world, because like he has to be able to perceive everything that's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Let him respond, Sabiel. Let him respond, and then you can go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're not talking about by his perception. We talking about what's absolutely true, whether he perceives it or not. That's why I use that analogy. It's the fact that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Was you done, Trai?
Yeah.
Okay. Ahead, so the absolute truth he cannot fully ascertain because he cannot hear what is absolutely going on. So he cannot hear you conversing with the other people. All he can know is that you are conversing with him. He cannot perceive everything in your absolute truth. So your absolute truth is different to his absolute truth at that moment. Now, if you expose him to the other part, then he can make a full assessment and come to a true conclusion.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter whether he can see it or not. It's still a
He's
true fact.
blind. You see, so
Right.
that's the moment where you have to give him the other element of the conclusion of the equation. If you don't, you're handicapping him. He's already handicapped from his blindness. So you're not helping him make a full assessment. You're giving him something and he's just supposed to accept it through his blindness.
Listen what I'm saying,
how?
though.
Why should he trust you if he don't know you?
Listen, I ain't talking about whether he accepts the information or not. My onus is on if the information is true. We talking about absolute truth. And I'm saying to a blind man, he may say that I'm not on the internet, but he's wrong. It's not that, well, that's his truth. No, he's wrong because he's blind and can't see.
No, he can see. He can't see because he's handicapped.
He's blind.
But had you given him the whole information, he would have been able to make a correct assessment. You understand? This is the handicap that y'all suffer from in Christianity. Y'all don't have a correct assessment. Remember, you told me that you don't believe that the Pauline letters were wrote before the Gospels. You don't believe this.
Well, that ain't what I said. I said it's been many dates thrown around is what I said. I said
no.
I don't know.
We got it on video. You said you don't believe it.
Okay. But that's still not what we're talking about.
I know.
So
Hey,
y'all had y'all discussion.
I'm going back to the blind man and the truth. I was going back. I'm just saying that truth is absolute. It doesn't matter who perceives, who knows. It's absolute.
I'm not disagreeing
that's my
with
point.
that.
It's absolute. But we can't get into my truth and his truth and her truth.
Okay, listen. Let's move on. I think
we ain't arguing this time, right?
No, we not. No, we not.
Y'all good. We just gotta get to Google and
right.
get Captain K.
Yeah. And I'm gonna talk to him again on that on this same conversation.
Okay.
What's up?
What's up, Google?
Peace, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Peace. Appreciate your patience, bro.
It's all good. Yeah. So if y'all don't mind, I'd like to ask us a few quick fire questions. They should be real short and real quick. Can I start with Minister Trai Williams?
Go ahead, bro. Right up. What you got?
All right. Good evening, brother.
Good evening.
All right. So, I don't think I fully grasp your concept of what you call church hurt. So I just wanted to make sure. Is it your position that everyone that has left the church is suffering from some form of church hurt?
No, that's not my position. A lot of people are. My position is a lot of people, and sometimes it's the church fault, and sometimes it's a misunderstanding of scripture that leaves people hurt. And we need, and my thing is we need to minister to whatever the reason is. Sometimes, hey, let's get church people just like any other people. They make mistakes. And so sometimes pastors need to be set out, deacons need to be set out, elders need to be set out because they've done something. But at the same time, it's kind of what really me and Doug was discussing. In my definition of church hurt, also when people
stop saying my government name.
I'm sorry. Hey, when people pray and don't get what they want, they leave the church as well. And to me, that's a form of church hurt. God didn't answer my prayer, so I'm done with God. I'm out. But is that everyone's case? No. It's a lot of people's. The more I talk to people and ask questions and probe, a lot of the time at the bottom of it is some church hurt in there.
Okay, I understand what you're saying because I was of the opinion that you're saying everyone. I will agree with you that some people that do leave the church leave because of church hurt. I can accept that. But can you accept that there are people that leave because they come to a realization that it's not true?
No. That means I would have to accept that it's not true.
No. I'm not saying you have to do that, but to them, based on their studies, they realize that the doctrine or the entire construct is not true.
If you change the word realize to think or assume, then I'm with you.
No,
because it's their realization. It has nothing to do with you. It's their realization. You can realize something, that's your perception.
I wouldn't agree with that. And I don't know if we splitting hairs, but you see what I'm saying? I won't agree to because it's not true, or because they found out it's not true, or they realize it's not true. If you say, well, they felt like it wasn't true and they left, I'm with that.
Or they believe it was not true.
I'm with that.
Just like you believe it's true. So it's a different side of the same coin, right?
No, because I would use the word.
I know it's not true. Listen, what if they knew it wasn't true?
I was just going to say, in addition to using the word believe, I would use I know without a doubt.
No, you can say you know. Anybody can say they know.
Whoa.
Anybody can say they know, but at the end of the day, it's all belief, right?
The evidence points to the fact that it's true. How about that?
And I'm saying the evidence points to the fact that it's not true.
Okay. There you have it. I ain't gonna argue with you about that.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's all I was saying. It's based on the person's perception.
Listen, and that's what you're saying. I'm just disagreeing with how you're phrasing it. We almost in the same boat, but I'm disagreeing on, you know what I'm saying, with a little bit of how you're phrasing it. They may think it's not true. They may feel like or believe that it's not true, and that's on them. But that's why me and Doug was Bianchi, excuse me.
You can't help yourself, can you?
Pastor Prophet, me and Pastor Prophet was talking about that's why we started talking about absolute truth in the first place.
Hey, you know what? And I got a way that you can prove it's true, man. Because
show me a donkey talking.
No, Sabio, it's even simpler than a donkey talking. If your struggle beard can become a actual beard, like the beard Captain K got, or the beard I had like next week. If your struggle beard can become a real beard, I believe, bro. Now, hey, quick.
It's some disrespect going on this YouTube. You know?
real quick. Hey, I put a poll in the chat for those of y'all who still with us. Make sure y'all vote on that poll. Hey, Google, was that it for you, or did you have something for me?
No, I had another point to Minister Trai Williams, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Sir.
All right, go for it.
Okay. When he was saying about when you were questioning him about the child telling their friends about Santa Claus, and he was saying they're lying. So,
well, I said they're repeating a lie.
You said they was lying.
Well, yeah, you said they were lying.
Because they're repeating a lie. Now they don't know they lie. You asked me, do they believe it's true? I said yes. But it's still a lie. The truth is, it's still a lie.
It's the same analogy I was using.
Let them rock. Because I got to hear this.
What I was trying to ask him.
It ain't going to change.
What would you feel like it's offensive if I came on here and said that Christians are liars? Because in my view, you would be in the same situation. Because I believe Christianity is a lie, and you're repeating that to other people. So if I said you were a liar by that standard, would that be offensive to you?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm not trying to be funny, man. That's a loaded question because I can't get offended. So would some Christians get offended by that? Maybe they would. You can't say nothing to offend me. So that's not a fair question to ask me.
That's a nice way to dodge that answer. To dodge that question. That was a nice dodge.
Well, watch this.
Step.
I said no. I won't get offended. I can't get offended, bro.
Why can't you fall back and let Captain 10K get it?
Right. You said why I can't get offended?
No, I was gonna say. Well, that's good because we know that Christianity is stolen from Judaism, so it has to be a lie.
Stolen from Judaism.
Well,
we're gonna start a whole nother. We got to get to Captain K.
Fulfillment.
Maybe you're trying to start another debate. Let's get to Captain K real quick. What up, Cap?
Hey, shalom, everybody. What's correct?
What's going on,
Shalom.
bro?
You got it, got it. I've been listening for a minute. I ain't been able to hear the very beginning. I wasn't on, but I was wondering, brother, would you or Minister Trai, that's what's your name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you consider yourself to be a sinner?
Am I a sinner? That's a good question. We all have sinned, past tense. Am I a sinner? No. But we all see, when you say sinner, my mind goes to practicing sin. Right?
Practicing sin?
Right. That's what my mind goes when you ask me, am I a sinner? To me, you asking me, do I practice sin? And I would say no.
Okay, but do you sin like have you sinned recent? Have you sinned this week?
What's today? No.
No. Okay.
But
What about last?
Preferably not yet.
What about last week? Oh, not yet. But you going to?
No, I hope not.
Okay.
But
okay. So do you keep all of God's laws?
I keep the ones He told me to keep.
Which ones are those that He told you to keep? How many did He tell you to keep? All of them or some of them? Two.
And you already know how I was going to answer that. I already know where we going.
Yo, my bad. I said to myself.
Mute your mic.
You already know I was going to say 2, and you know where I'm coming from, Matthew. So what you really getting at?
You said in Matthew?
Let's skip to what you're getting at.
You said in Matthew? No, because I was just trying to ask, and you're doing a good job.
Do I keep the old Mosaic covenant? No.
Right. Okay. And so you would be a sinner according to the Bible. Not that dance around stuff that you're trying to say. Talk about practicing sin. That
so
there's
the
no
scripture don't talk about that.
About practicing sin.
Yeah.
It's either you keep it.
I'm asking you, does the scripture speak specifically on those that follow Christ don't practice sin?
But those that don't follow Christ, they practice sin?
No, I'm asking you, does the scripture specifically say that we that belong to Christ, that follow Christ, don't practice sin?
Yeah, but you yourself just said you don't keep the Most High's laws, so you don't.
That's
follow
not what
Christ.
I said. That's not what I said. I said I don't keep the old Mosaic covenant. I said I keep the laws, the 2 laws that Christ told us to keep. I said I keep the 2 laws that Christ told us to keep.
All right, one at a time, so y'all can get an
hey, bro. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but what you really want? Because you already we can skip through all of that.
I'm about to get to it, but I see you like the 2-step a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I gave you the answer. I gave you a direct answer.
No,
I keep the 2 laws that Jesus told us to keep.
Okay, so Christ came and did away with the Most High laws and gave you 2 to keep.
Did he say he did away with them, or did he say he fulfilled them? Like I said, we know where it's going, bro.
Fulfill means to do, though. You understand? So fulfill doesn't mean complete.
I'm sure you got the Hebrew word, you got the Greek word pulled up. Read the Greek.
You understand? So
I know you already got it ready. Where are we going with this, bro?
Well, just be patient. I'm gonna go there.
You try to slow up me somewhere I already know where you're going,
brother. Just calm down.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I ain't teaching nothing, bro. I'm just gonna ask a question because I was listening to you, and you was talking about this voice of God that you hear, but you won't admit it. You understand? Because most Christians are hypocrites, and they like what you did. You danced around and said, "Well, I just kept 2 laws that Christ said to keep." Christ didn't say keep no 2 laws.
What he said?
You understand? So that would be a lie. You understand? Christ didn't come to do his own will. He said he came to do the will of the Father. And the Father passed down a whole bunch of laws, not just 2.
Well, bro, do you keep all of those laws?
Absolutely.
Do you keep all of them?
Yeah, but hold
So
on though.
where do you
I
go fulfill
absolutely
your
do.
feast at?
So
Because you ain't got no temple. Where you go fulfill your feast?
Fulfill the feast.
Yo,
Okay.
Okay,
Hold on.
You're not stoning homosexuals. You're not cutting no sacrificing no goats. Cut it out. You're coming with tired, debunked rhetoric. I know what he is.
You already know.
That is competition
you already
many
know
times.
we're not supposed to be stoning anyone. You understand?
Oh, I thought that was. I'm sorry. I thought that was in the law.
Sacrifice. No, see, this is where Christians don't know the Bible.
Okay.
You understand? Christ
what is your
was
point?
That sacrifice.
What is
Christ
your point?
Was that, hold your horse. Let me say what I'm saying. Christ was that sacrifice, so we don't have to sacrifice.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
For our sins.
He fulfilled.
You understand? Fulfill don't mean that it's done now that you don't have to keep the law. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Oh, excuse me, P. If I fulfill my contract with you, what does that mean?
When Christ,
this is simple, sir.
When he said that he came to fulfill, he came to do. You understand? Christ did it, and he told us to keep the law. And even after Christ, they wasn't talking about two laws. You understand? Good night. The Christian is showing his true colors. Man,
613
what you finna stick the mic in your mouth? What is you doing, brother? You controlling yourself.
613 laws. How many laws we got? 10, 613. See, now when we talked about the Hebrew Israelite earlier, that's why I told you got to figure out which camp you're dealing with because they all believe different stuff. Which one are you? How many laws you got?
I'm in the ISUPK up under Commander.
How many laws you got?
I keep all the laws.
I don't want to hear about Muhammad. There's that
613. I didn't say anything about Muhammad.
You keep 613. You keep 613 laws.
You must be confused.
If I may, brothers, if I may, can I propose a dialogue between
where we going? What's the point?
Captain K. Hold on. Captain K, the Gauger boy of ISUPK under command of General Yohana and Minister Future Pastor Trai.
Stop being messy.
I'm definitely.
Are we supposed to keep the laws?
It's not a debate.
Dialogue, DMG, the brother. Right now, the brother is not trying.
Listen,
you see how he's
I'm not trying to hear you. No, listen.
And sticking the mic.
Got him shook up.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to hear what you're saying.
There's a dancing around.
You got him wobbling,
don't want to
Cap, mute your. Not Cap. Sabio, mute your mic, man.
Listen, now see what don't work. I specifically answered him straight up. Man, he's dancing around. I gave you specific answers to your questions. You don't like what I'm saying, and there's a difference. Okay, there's a difference. And you still haven't gotten to the point of what are you asking me? What is your point, sir?
Because you steady going round and round and round. You understand? Okay. Now you said that Christ told us to only keep two laws. That is a lie. That is a whole lie.
These two commandments hang all. What does all mean, church? All the law and the prophets. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
Okay, that doesn't mean
that's right.
And they done, bro. That sounds ridiculous. You understand? That's more so like the foundation. That's the same.
It's okay.
That's the same as the 10 Commandments.
It's all right.
That is the foundation for all the laws. What Christ was saying,
that's not what he was saying.
You can hang the law on these two, meaning like, okay, you got like, just say number
you try to teach me, but you're wrong, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm not teaching anything.
Sir, that's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, bro. But you can't teach me. You don't know what you're talking about.
You just said.
Listen to what I'm saying.
All right, brothers. All right.
You know what you're talking about.
I'm responding, bro.
We gonna
know what you're talking about, sir.
You understand?
Yes, but you don't know what you're talking about.
So you're telling me.
Let me mute my mic. Say what you want to say, without.
So basically, what he's saying, what the brother is saying, right, is that the last. Hold on, DMG. Let me say.
No, he called it. He muted his mic.
I'm sure that's what the Bible said that the wicked do. They flee when no man pursue it. You understand? That's what the Bible said.
Man. Come on, man.
You saw the brother for yourself. He started sticking the mic up his nose and in his mouth. I mean, damn. You understand? Like, come on. You understand? No, that's
Now
not an ad hominem. That's what you was doing.
I know you heard me tell them that I couldn't be trolled, and yet you trying it. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I ain't gonna be honest, bro. I like dialogue with people, but you don't know what you're talking about. So
you came off the mic. Now you gonna mute your mic. Now
I'm
you back
sorry.
off the mic.
You're right.
Like
right,
what you gonna do?
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying.
What you want me to do?
We gonna close on out.
Okay.
What you want me to do?
Okay. But this what I'm saying. What I'm saying real quick, DMG, and I'm gonna go and let y'all close out.
Yeah. When you get done with your statement, Cap, close out. Let everybody know what you got going on with the food drive, etc. The Passover. You know the drill.
Ain't no sweat. The water, brother. And I appreciate it. You know, but like I was saying, was the brother danced around. You know what I'm saying? That these questions because he know. You understand where I was coming from. You know, with all of that, because what I wanted to address was the God talking to you, telling you something, give somebody some money and all of that nonsense. You know, God always tell these Christians to give some money, pay your tithes, but they don't never tell. God don't never speak to them and say, keep my laws. Right? He'll never say stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, stop being gay and lesbian, stop molesting children. You understand? God don't never tell them that. But they always just how some unearthly reason is he just comes and tells you about your money and your tithes and if you want to get blessed, man. That's a lot of Christian mumbo jumbo, man. You understand? And Christians are liars, like what Google Scholar was bringing out. You understand? He putting that on kids and Santa Claus and Christmas so bad, but he's a bigger liar. You understand? And he's a bigger hypocrite than those kids. You understand? Because John 9:31 says, "Now we know that God heareth not sinners."
Read the text. Read it again.
If you are not keeping God's laws, right, then you are a sinner. Okay, that's what the Bible says. Sin is. Okay, it don't say if you don't keep those two laws, right? It says, but if any man be a worshiper of God, and what does it mean to worship the Most High? That means that you keeping His laws and doeth His will.
I told you he tried to teach me.
You understand? Hold on, bro.
You've been talking 10 minutes, bro.
So
you ain't through yet.
You muted your mic. You
man, where that wrap it up box set from Dave Hill show?
So just mute your mic and let me finish, bro. You heard DMG.
Preach,
let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Preach, brother. Preach. Teach us,
let me
brother.
finish saying what I'm saying.
Teach us.
Come on. You get control of yourself, Pastor. You understand? I know it's hard. I know you got demons, brother, but just hold yourself, man. Control yourself, brother. You're big silly pastor too. God damn. Okay, so like I was saying, that's what the scripture says right there. You understand? When it comes to you hearing God talking to you and all that nonsense, man. You understand? That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. You understand? God ain't speaking to you, telling you, oh, give somebody some, get that person $10, get a homeless person $20. You understand? But then turn around and bypass all of His laws and just go straight to give somebody some money. Okay, but DMG, you know I'm always up for the dialogue. You understand? Just hit me up. Whoever want to have a discussion, I don't mind. Right? And we got the next upcoming food drive. It's going to be. Let's see. Let me get the date real quick. Oh, the Passover, real cool. I'm looking this up. The Passover going down April the 15th, down in Cocoa Beach, Florida. All right. So make sure every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian is welcome. You understand? To come serve the Lord. Let me see. Let me get the calendar up. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, Cap. I'm putting together a panel, Cap. I'm talking about IUIC attacking my sister Nefertiti. So you know how I feel about IUIC and what they did to that sister that worked for me. So you know you always welcome to jump on.
Oh yeah, just let me know ahead of time, brother. That way I can be on. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I'll definitely jump in there.
For sure.
Yeah. So the next food drive is gonna be April the 15th. You understand? from 1 to 3 p.m., 5261 Delmar Boulevard. All right. Thousands of pounds of food. Make sure everybody is there to get it. And other than that, man, we got our regular schedule going on, our classes and our radio show. Y'all know how we do. You understand? So, but yeah, I'm gonna drop with that DMG. Right on, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, my brother. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
All right, Google Scholar, you want to close out, bro? Let the people know where they can find you, social media, all that good shit. I mean, good stuff.
You did pretty good though.
I tried, man. I tried. You there, Google?
But listen, I don't even expect you to be able to close.
Yeah, I'm here, but
control.
I don't got much going on. You can go ahead and close out.
All right, Sabio.
Yo, what up?
Man,
Yo.
you was too hype. Let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yo, I just want to say a few things before I close out. First, I want people to pay attention to the confusion that you have between the people that follow this one book. And they say that God is not the author of confusion. Well, you can see some confusion.
Did you just go there, Sabio? Did you?
Yo.
A lot of weird things have been happening lately.
I just want people to pay attention to that. And these are two men whose ancestors were treated horrifically by the progenitors of this book. The Jews were some of the biggest capitalizers of the slave trade, sub-Saharan and transatlantic. Some of the biggest capitalizers. I have located all the players in this place, in these trades. I know what they were doing, and I know what they look like. They did not look like anybody on this panel. They did not come from West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, or South Africa. This religion started in the Middle East, in the Levant, and it traveled all over the world. But see, the confusion is we need something grand, something great. And this religion is it, because it gives us a promise of what? Dying and coming back in our resurrected new bodies and seeing our families again in heaven. It's the only religion that promised that. It's a promise that no other religion promised. Yeah, y'all can find me on channels like Myth Vision Podcast, Dagger Squad, Pseudo Killers, and Scripture Rippers, And we be over there going into the history of the world. We go into world history, not just American history, world history. So I'm exploring the Ottoman Empire, and I'll be dropping some gems on that a lot of people are not aware of.
Sabio is the Tupac of YouTube. He get around. My boy B Wash.
Yes, sir.
It's on you, man. Let the people know what you got going on. I know you got a lot going on. You can tell them if you want, or you can keep it to yourself, but you got a lot going on, brother. Good things, good things. I know you don't like to brag, but go on, talk about it.
I don't know, man. I'm still trying to figure out apparently I ain't doing enough because I'm still just a liar, a stealer of money, and no good scoundrel that don't do nothing for my people. So
Hey, and then I just want to say, hey, man, I don't know what you doing that my brother Trai ain't doing, because your beard didn't look like a struggle beard, just for the record. But go ahead.
Oh man, not the shots. Nah, man. I'm just doing the Lord's work, really. But nah, man, I'm just in the community as always. We got an upcoming event in 2 weeks where we celebrating this community I'm in. We're doing a bike ride tour, so we want people to get their health on in this beautiful spring weather to ride the bike about 3 to 5 miles. In different areas, we're gonna be doing some highlighting some Black entrepreneurs in different spots along that bike trail, so make sure people can visit the Black entrepreneurs. And then a couple weeks from now, we got a Kids Day, little egg hunt going on with a parade, helping out with the local community to help put on their stuff for kids, get some giveaways, help the community out. That's really it. We got a big project that we're working on right now. Can't talk too much about it, but hopefully it'll be a game changer. We're trying to make close a multi-million-dollar investment in our community that really change stuff for the next 30, 40, 50 years. But man, that's really it, man. You just find me in the community doing my thing. For the most part, that's about it, man. You know, DMG. I don't like talking about.
You humble, man. The brother do work in his community 24/7, basically. Every weekend he doing something. You say the stuff he just named. He didn't even nearly name all of it. He a scholar. He's studying as we speak.
Do he keep the law though?
Continuously. I mean, he got a beard, so.
Yeah, I guess my hair growing too. You know, we got dreads.
He doing work continuously, and he doing it for the benefit of our people above anything else.
Yo, y'all stupid for that.
So salute to my.
See how they doing, Miss Sabio?
Yo, I was over here laughing the whole time.
Future Pastor Trai Struggle Beard. Future Pastor Minister Trai.
Undercover Christian Pianki.
What you got for us, man? Let the people know where they can find you.
All my stuff.
Besides right here on Paradigm Shift TV 314.
All my stuff, Minister Trai. Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. And for my boy Cap, my Cash App, Minister Trai as well, if you want to hit that for me. Listen, man, it was so much foolishness said in them last 15 minutes. I ain't even going to respond to all of that. That ain't what the Bible say. You can't let everybody teach you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Is we doing a part 2 to this or what?
Yo, you silly,
because it is some stuff that me and you didn't talk about that I want to expound on in your story. But bro, I ain't gonna lie, you said so much and you added some clarity to some of the conversations we had. I gotta go back and watch it and take notes so I can ask you some more questions. It was so much stuff running through my mind, like, bro, how you got to that? And you know, I guess when we was listening, the person that was listening, they must have missed over the part when I said God was calling me to preach. That's when I heard him. But I guess we skipped over that part. Somehow we got to the money part. We skipped everything else, but you know, that's what people do to you, man. But listen, man, I'm like, I know you just heard me say I can't be trolled. No, you just heard me say that.
Hey man, that's what I do. Cap gonna put you to the test, Doc. Cap gonna put you to the test.
This is what I do, sir, not me, sir. I can't get trolled. Because guess what? Watch this. I don't let people who can't teach me. That's one. We learned that early. Don't let people that don't know what they're talking about don't teach you. Everything else is easy. And don't worry about my beard.
I gotta set up a dialogue between y'all now.
Give Sabio my number, man. I need to hit you offline, Sabio.
All right, bro.
Hey, man, don't cuss me out.
I won't.
But I only, the other dude say he following the Lord, but he cussing. I don't expect you to, but don't cuss me out now.
I only said one curse word all
Not you. I'm talking about the other guy reading scriptures and cussing at the same time.
Hey, y'all brothers be cool.
But
P and Trai, y'all be cool. I just got that look. So y'all know what it is.
Bro.
I'm gonna come at you like your buddy Paul from Turkey.
Man, I'm on East Coast time. I'm definitely a troll.
Yeah. So, all right, brother. So that's it, man. Me and future pastor minister Trai gonna do a part 2 to this. As I said, I'm an open book. I ain't got nothing to hide. I didn't made mistakes, missteps, and I'm doing what I got to do to correct.
I hit you up on Facebook, Trai.
And I'm doing what I got to do to be a better version of myself than what I was. Childhood situations aside, bad memories, bad occurrences in life aside, I'm using those things to to continue to be the building blocks of a better version of me. So no excuses for the things done in the past. We just use them as lessons. Life is a classroom. And we continue to learn, we continue to build. So with that being said, there's been another episode of Paradigm Shift TV 314. Y'all look out for my brother Cap, ISUPK St. Louis. Look out for my brother Trai Williams, the Scripture Ripper. Like I say, he the Tupac of YouTube. He get around everywhere. So we're going to be back at you again with another episode. We coming for IUIC for disrespecting my sister Nefertiti and other Black women. How you going to tell a man to leave a wife? And then try to back it up with the Bible on top of that. So
because the Bible condones that
with that
in certain
said,
places.
I think my brother Cap would disagree.
I know he will.
Totally,
but I got a verse that'll hurt you.
But
and we can talk about it.
So we gonna deal with it. I'm gonna get my boy Dre, my man Cap, and we're gonna deal with these cowards because that's what it is. Because at the end of the day, the sister is a woman. So why you even commenting on something a woman said when it's brothers out here who you wouldn't even dare step to? So we're gonna deal with it. But like I say, we'll be back at y'all again with another episode. We'll keep y'all posted on when me and Trai do part 2. I'm gonna negotiate. I'm gonna put my Don DMG King hat on so I can get this conversation going with Minister Trai and Cap. And we'll be back at it again, family. This has been another episode of Paradigm Shift TV. Hotep, shalom, peace.
Peace.
Shalom, brothers.